Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Dinner and a Game. How are y'all doing? We're doing great. Thanks for asking. Tonight we have a kind of limited cast or limited crew, because we are basically um, kind of switching things up a little bit, and a lot of us, it's Saturday, so a lot of folks had plans, but that's why we always say that whoever's on the show is made up of whoever's around and whoever's available. So tonight we actually have a new member to Dinner and a Game, and we'd like to welcome Anthony.
Hello. How are y'all
Yay!
doing?
How are y'all
Thanks
doing?
for having me.
Thanks for having me.
Excellent. I've actually been on Anthony's show. Disco Daddy is his name on Twitch, and I've been on his Build a Blank show for building different uh, items and devices for our tabletop RPGs, and we are building a city there, and we will be doing that again on Monday night. So, and it is Disco. Is it just Disco Daddy? Twitch.
It's the
Twitch.
Disco Daddy.
The Disco Daddy.
Disco Daddy was
Disco
taken.
Daddy was
Gotcha.
taken.
So it is the Disco Daddy on Twitch, and he streams that on. Well, I don't know if you have an actual schedule, right? I mean, ours was on Monday, but
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it
It's
was.
it's
It's
more
it's
around.
more
It's usually
around.
Sunday or
It's usually
Monday.
Sunday or Monday.
But it kind of goes with the
Goes
schedule
with the
of the special
schedule of the
guest.
special guest.
Mainly it's on
Mainly
Mondays
it's
though.
on Mondays
gotcha.
though.
And that's when I'm on next. Is this coming Monday, and we'll be finishing up free. It was a free home.
Yep. Free home.
Yep.
Free
Free
home,
home.
which is pretty much a city made up of well, scoundrels. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but we'll be finishing that
Yes.
up on Monday
Yes.
night. So, this tonight though is Dinner Conversations, which is a show we do mainly to provide a little bit of our own opinion, a little bit of news, and a little bit of context of things going on in the geek and gaming community in general. A lot of times it's specifically regarding tabletop RPGs. Tonight's show is going to be about tabletop RPGs, and we've got a couple of different topics we want to cover. But before we get to that, we have some things we want to go over. So why don't I throw the first one over to Kessie, and she can go over our race to 7K.
Oh, okay. I did
Oh,
not
wait, sorry, no,
know. Cool.
no,
Yeah,
sorry,
cool.
no, no,
Yeah.
no, no. That was Jessica.
I can.
Yeah, you can if you want to, absolutely.
I mean, I guess I can.
Are you gonna race to 7K?
Oh. Yes. Yeah.
We're
Come
both gonna
on.
try and
Come
flip the
on.
numbers super fast. Who's gonna
I
win?
hate this. Oh God, no! Stop!
So-
I accidentally hit the wrong thing.
So I'll take 7K then. So the race to 7K is basically we're trying to get to 7,000 followers on Facebook. We started this race probably about 4 weeks ago now. W audio from everyone but Ray. Oh, I know why.
Uh-oh.
That should solve it, Meg. I forgot to turn Anthony's camera audio off. Now, sorry everyone who's getting the double audio, but now we're getting only just one audio. So
And now I have the numbers.
now you have numbers, but it's too late because I already got there first.
I know. God.
So we are running a race to 7K, and we're doing a contest as a giveaway for that race. We are asking everyone to go to our Facebook page. It's Dinner and a Game, and you go there and like the page, follow the page, and there is a pinned post on the page for the contest for 7K. It is literally titled, okay, folks, here's a 7K giveaway. So that post, you share that post out, and it automatically enters you in the contest to win. And what you win is every single mini that is pictured on the contest is part of the prize. There is a set of 4 heroes. There is a set of 2 wizards, because it's a wizard in 2 different poses, with a hat and without a hat, pretty much. And then he's in 2 separate poses. And then there is a cloud giant. There is a hill giant. There is a storm giant. There is a fire giant, and there is a frost giant. All of these are unique HD minis that I have already printed out and are ready to go. There is also a creature called a grave golem. It could be used as an earth elemental. It could be used as some kind of undead construct. It is a huge based item, so it's as big as a giant. It's almost taller than the giants, and it's glorious.
Gorgeous.
It's gorgeous. And then there is also there is a character in there called the Yeti, which is it's on a large base as well, or it's a huge base as well, and it could be used as any type of huge monster from a Yeti to anything else like that. It's another gorgeous sculpt, and it's in a very dramatic pose, and it's got a custom base. So and also aside from the Yeti, there is also what's called Grozgol the Doom Guard. It's a Death Knight, and this one we're providing you in two different models. He is on a large base on a mounted, and then he is also on foot on a standard 28 millimeter base. So all these minis are being given away as one prize package to one person who is going to be drawn from everyone who has shared this post. So the current number of people who have shared this post is 66. But I guarantee you, I'm checking to see how many times I shared it. 66 shares. Out of those 66 shares, the grand majority of them are, wow, no, yeah, there's like 3 shares by me, and then some of the people have shared it more than once. So no matter how many times you share it, it's only 1 entry per person. So once it gets shared out, once you guys share it, you're entered in the contest, and we will draw 1 winner from all the people listed who shared that post. So if you can, get to the page, like and follow the page, and share the post, because we are at, drumroll, 6,924, which
Woo.
means it is going to be, there's only 76 more follows left before this contest is ended. We thought we might get through it this weekend. It slowed down a little bit, so maybe you guys got some more time, but don't waste time. If you want to be entered in this contest, get in there, get to the page, like and follow, and then share out that post. The next contest we have is, the next 2 contests we have are actually for our Twitch page, which Kessie was ready to do.
Yeah, certain amount.
So,
But yeah, we also have 2 Twitch contests going on that are centered around our Twitch. So one is the contest to try to get us to 200 followers, which we are at 121 currently. There is a post on Facebook to share out for that contest, and then as long as you follow us on Twitch and you share that post, you will be entered to win. And that is for a set of minis as well. Was it the 3 heroes and then the bar scene?
Right.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Okay. I keep getting it all mixed up in my head because
that's all right.
I'm awesome like that. And then our other contest is for subscribers. So we have a set of the core books, core D&D books, the DM's Guide, the Monster Manual, and the Player's Handbook that come in with along with, yeah, there you go, with the DM screen. Your background keeps covering along with the DM screen, and that comes in the sleeve. And we are going to be choosing one of our subscribers to win that set on September 5th, which is a Saturday. We'll be doing it live during dinner conversations.
Yes, ma'am.
So
excellent. Thank you very much.
Subscribe if you can. If you can't, that's okay. It's only $6 a month, but you know.
And remember, that particular set of books is currently going for about $125 on Amazon.
Yeah.
So it's not for a $6 investment, you have a chance at winning about 125 books, and those books are the special edition, collector's edition of those books. So, not the collector's edition, they're the special edition, and the special edition means that the books themselves and the GM screen are foil covers. So they're very, very shiny, fancy, very, very sparkly, and they will not look like anyone else's D&D books unless they too manage to get a copy of the special edition.
Yes. And so subscribe if you can, but if you can't, also just follow us and share that post on Facebook to be entered in for the minis at the very least.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
All right. So, and then the other thing we wanted to mention is there's 2 more things. First off, we always, every single show, choose a local store to our areas to go ahead and give out some love to. And the store for tonight is, oh crap, I lost it. My sorry guys, my
I don't think I've heard of that store before.
huh? Yeah, I know. Oh crap, I lost that store. Where did it go?
I'm waiting for Meg.
Thank you.
Yep.
Three Suns Unlimited in Longview, Texas. Now, Meg's out, and she's staying in Longview right now, and so she went and checked out the store personally. She said that the store has a great amount of stock, great space. They have a ton of different paints, she said, for minis. They have a huge amount of books for RPGs. Of course, they're a game store, and so they have paints, minis, cards, everything you need. And it's a great location with a good amount of space. And so Meg says she highly recommends it. And they are doing social distancing. They are requiring you to wear a mask in order to go to shop in the store. And I don't remember. Meg, did you say that they actually still doing events, or they're not doing events, or did you not, or did they not mention that? Like the Gathering tournaments and stuff like that. She's typing fast. She's probably chasing a cat.
Panicking.
No, she's probably chasing a cat.
There you go.
But no, there's there is. Oh yeah, paint and take. So they are still doing events, but they are using social distancing and everything like that for the events. And she said, I think, do you believe that they're doing limited amount of people in the they're doing little limited amount of people in the store. So I'm assuming they're doing that with events as well. So if you can, please go and to the store. I think Meg even said they're doing curbside pickup. So if you can, everything you can do to support our local stores will help keep our gaming community thriving after COVID clears up. Because remember, all these stores are locally owned small stores, and they basically are trying to survive in the midst of COVID, which means that their income has been massively massively cut off, and they're doing everything they can to survive. But if we don't do what we can to make sure they survive, when this all ends, we're not going to have that community anymore. Everyone's right now, if you want to find a game, you can go online, you can go to Facebook, you can meet complete strangers. But if you want to find a game and actually find a group that you meld with, right now you can go to a game store. Or well, before COVID, you could go to a game store. You could play like D&D Adventures League in store. You could meet people, have a chance to sit down at the table and talk to them and get to know them before you did huge things like invited them to your house to play a game, or before you do anything like that. So basically, this is a chance to give back to these stores that have given so much to us as a community, and we want to do everything in our power to support them. So if you can, order locally, shop locally. If you don't want to go into a store because you're nervous about it, check and see what stores near you are doing curbside service. And a lot of them are. And there is even stores that have set up websites and mail order. I don't believe that they have that they have that set up there, but they are doing curbside service. They are doing quick pickup at the counter, so you can prepay. So you guys can go ahead and use all those services and go there. If you do want to go into the store, they are requiring masks, which is great, because that means that they're actually trying to help with the situation while trying to stay alive. We understand that these are retail spaces and they need people to actually shop there and buy product there in order to stay open. And other than that, we wanted to go ahead and say, if you can shop local, do so. You'll be keeping the community going, keeping the community alive. I do have something that I am unfortunately, and Phil, this affects you because you're the one who, one of the people who is one of their diehard followers. But Etten Games is not practicing social distancing and not requiring masks.
And they're still running events.
And they're still running events.
That's pretty insane, seeing as they can get shut down for that, because there is a state mandate currently across the state of Texas for public spaces to require masks. So they can literally be fined and shut down for that.
They had a 40K tournament going today that they were literally streaming on Facebook, and there was people just like, there were some people wearing masks.
Well, I guess they better be ready for people to show up and give them a fine.
Yeah, it's ballsy.
Yeah, it's real ballsy.
So I mean, and I was friends with the owner. I would love to say I'm friends with the owner still, but I just don't understand it. And if I know for a fact that for him it's political, and that's fucking ridiculous. And I cannot believe that. I'm sorry, guys. I cannot believe that he's doing this, because I thought I knew him better than that. So anyway, Eton
Sorry, I
Games is
didn't mean
not.
to laugh,
No, no,
but I
no.
was
It's
laughing at
Eton
Philip's
Games is
face.
no longer practicing. Is not practicing social distancing. Is not enforcing the mask rules. And so we can no longer endorse them as a safe place to shop. And we wish we could, because they were our first shop here. They're run by our friends of ours. I mean, these people helped us move into our house when we first moved to Houston. That's how close we
Wow.
were. And so this is fucking pretty severe for us. And it's like a
Mm,
gut punch. So,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah, that was part of the article that I had sent to you guys about it in games.
what was that?
About the one that I posted in our Discord.
Hmm.
It was talking about how the guy personally is not wearing a mask and he's not requiring people to wear masks. And I guess when there's an interviewer who went in there for, I think it was either cron.com or
Yeah.
KHO, one of those. Yeah,
Mm,
wherever I sent you that article from. But yeah, that was the last little bit of the article, was saying that they were not practicing the social distancing and not requiring masks.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But I only thing we can do is we can tell you what's going on so you guys can make your own decisions. And
mm,
so I just wanted, because we had endorsed them previously in the show, because I just assumed that, he's a friend and he's an intelligent man, and I assumed that he was doing the right thing. So I'm sorry for us having done that, and we apologize. And of course, we retract the endorsement. But anyway, let's move away from that and go to something cool like
mm.
Extra Life. So we are working with Extra Life as a charity. Extra Life is an amazing charity. They basically they do donations to children's hospitals across the United States, and they basically run a charity event from the month of August to the month of November. And this charity event is a fundraiser that basically makes sure that these hospitals get charitable donations that they require. I don't actually know what the requirements are, but I know that 90% of the hospitals that they give to are either 100% charitable, or the majority of their funds come from charitable contributions. And they're all children's hospitals. So we're actually doing our local fundraiser for the Cook Children's Hospital here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. They provide low-cost medical treatments and free medical treatments to children in need, as well as having some of the best specialists in child medicine in the state of Texas on board. We are doing a $1,000 drive for Cook County Hospital, and that is already has $400 donated to it. So we really are grateful for that. We also have a second $1,000 goal drive into Extra Life into what they call the Extra Life General Fund, and that is a fund that Extra Life does when they don't have a team or a group that contributes directly to one hospital. The money they go to just goes into the Extra Life General Fund, and then they distribute it out to all the hospitals across the board. If any of them came up short of funding goals, or if they, some of them were in areas that did not have a team working on them, they'll make sure that the funds get out to those hospitals as well. So we have two goals, $1,000 each. One of them has $400 contributed to it, of which Dinner and a Game contributed $100 to that one, and then the other one has $100 to it because Dinner and a Game contributed $100 to that one, and we are sitting right now at $300. No, sorry, yeah, $300 total, $400 total. And hey guys, someone just came
Mm.
flying into chat. But
Oh,
anyway,
hey.
yep. So
Hey.
we basically we want to make sure that we blow those goals out of the water. So please, if you can, of dollar, anything. If everyone who follows us on Facebook were to donate $1, we blow this thing out sevenfold. So just go donate what you can. Donate $1. Donate $5. Donate $10. We have had some really generous contributors already. We had one of our followers. on Twitch, she contributed $150. And another one
Wow.
contributed $50. I don't want to embarrass anyone with giving the names, but these are followers of the show, and they have freaking just like come through massively. And so
Awesome.
you guys, they took the heat off the rest of you. The rest of you can get away with $10. But if all you give $10, we'll be done. So please, if you can, donate to Extra Life, and we are going to stop all this talking and get to the actual show now.
Hey, so real quick, Ray.
Yes.
So I'm looking at the Extra Life right now. We're sitting at $300.
$300. Sorry.
So for the duration of this stream for Dinner and a Game, whatever is donated, I'll match up to $200.
Jesus.
Nice.
Thank you, Phil.
So for $300,
Philip.
that donates 200 total. I'll match with 200, and that'll put us at 700.
Wow.
Yeah.
So guys, please, if you can, donate to Extra Life within the next. You know what? We're not shutting the stream down.
We're never shutting the stream down.
We're never shutting the stream down. We're gonna keep the stream going until we hit the goal.
I fall asleep. It is.
So
it is 2:42 in the morning.
2:42 in the morning. Oh, by the way, everyone, Phil is in Germany and
visiting my beautiful
Jazz. So,
Jazz.
and these guys are like the heart of our little community down here. We love them so much. And we are looking so forward when this whole situation resolves and Jasmine can come back stateside, and we will be the first in line. Well, we won't be the first in line because we're in Fort Worth, but we'll be somewhere nearby, and we will say hi.
I'll be there.
Yeah, Cassie will be first in line.
I will be there.
And she will be crying her eyes out
in tears.
But
you don't cry.
24-hour stream, yes. But yes, yeah, Cassie doesn't cry. What are you talking about?
No, not at all.
I cry.
She's almost crying now, ladies and gentlemen.
Everyone
get ready with the cry counter.
I'm fine. I'm fine, guys. I'm fine.
Cassie, how romantic is it that Phil and Jasmine are going to be together someday?
I love it so much. It makes me so happy. You're the absolute best.
Cassie has cried.
They make my heart so happy. I love them both so much.
Start crying, she's gonna start crying. If she starts crying, I'm gonna start crying.
Okay? Everyone's gonna cry. All right, so we will get away from crying and get on to the first topic for the night. The first topic for tonight is one that is kind of, it's not controversial in any way, shape, or form, but it is about what goes into getting ready for a game. A lot of people have a lot of different opinions on this. Some people just like to wing it. I mean, they show up and they get there 10 minutes before the game and they look around and they're like, well, what do we need? I can play a cleric. I can play a blah. I can play a blah. What do we need? I've got 17 characters made up. What are we doing? And other people they find out they're going to be in the game. They know the first day it's scheduling, and they start writing and they start creating a backstory and they start building out their character, optimizing it, finding out what they can do, what they can get away with, and everything like that. So there is a lot of different schools of thought on this. But the general topic we're talking about is preparation. How much is too much, or is there such a thing as too much? So what for me as a GM, I am kind of insane because even as a GM, actually as a player, I spend more time prepping than I do as a GM. I have been running from the seat of my pants for the past 20 years. And now I don't know how to prep. Actually, running an Adventures League has been this weird thing. I ran Adventures League for the last 5 years, 6 years, since 2014. And so running Adventure League has been this weird thing for me because I get given all these packets with all this information. And the first time I was running Adventure League, I was like, what do I want this for? I was like, throw it out the window. And I just ran whatever I wanted. And I was like, no, you can't do that. You have to run the modules. So I was like, okay, well, I started reading it. And I realized that having this preset out information, it made it like I always felt contained, not contained, but limited by running
Mm-hmm.
modules because it had the content that was in the module, and that was it. But what they actually say is that it's kind of like the content of the module is what you need to have to get credit for doing the adventure, but how you format it, how you present it to players, and the order you run it doesn't matter. As long
Mm-hmm.
as you get to the points in the module that it needs you to and give them the information they need and then give them the items that are only listed in the module, you're good to go. So once I got
Mm-hmm.
that, I kind of was able to free flow with it a little more. But I normally don't prep much for running games. I walk into it and I like the first games are always session zeros are always fun because it's like I feel out my players, I get an idea for what they want. I ask them a ton of questions before the session zero. I've talked about the other 100 questions. I've talked about the background, the 20 questions I give them to answer about their heroes, and then I build all that up and I have this general idea of what the characters are doing and what they're about, and we take that and we run with it, and we just get into the character and we start just mashing it out in game, and then as we
Mm-hmm.
mash it out in game, that's where my story comes from what my characters drive the story to. And I always say that that is something that I find to be the most rewarding experience because the players are included in every step of the creation of the process of the story because they are the story. But that's the way I do things. So, how, Anthony, do you do things?
Well, for me, it's kind of I wouldn't say it's the polar opposite, but it's definitely on the other end of the spectrum where I over prep a lot. Um, like pre-COVID, I found myself like I build terrain, like high detailed terrain, like dungeon maps and everything, like three-dimensional things that my party can go into and they can like interact with it. Um, and a lot of times this terrain that would be on the table for about 3 hours would take 2 weeks to make. And then so like for instance, we had during right before COVID, I don't remember, but we had a dragon, like an adult dragon fight.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a white dragon, and so they had to climb up this mountain, and I built the summit of the mountain, and it was this whole high detailed terrain piece. And they knew this was happening. They knew that they were going to fight this white dragon. But because they knew it was going to happen, they came up with a plan on how to do it. And so like this terrain piece that spent 2 hours, or not, sorry, 2 weeks for me to build, they what happened? They they hexed it, they banished it, they baned it, got into position, went to town, and then rinse and repeat until that happened. And then but like on the other end of that, like post COVID, like or during COVID, I found myself using Roll20 a lot, and that means like spending those 2 weeks of prep time. It's just my housewife. That's my wife. He's not joking. They
I saw your other friend uh,
Tiny Pencil.
Yeah, he was saying that he's having to build an entire economy because one of his players wants to be a merchant.
Yeah, yeah. And so, but like now it's like I'm spending more time outside of the aesthetic and more on the narrative, which I've really liked. I wouldn't say that I've limited the time that I'm spending on my game, but I've definitely refocused it. And yeah, like it's as far as like, is there such thing as too much prep? Absolutely, I think because there was a couple times where like the burnout, you get that burnout of like my schedule is packed, like between family, work, Dungeons and Dragons, hobbies, side hustles, etc. It doesn't really leave a lot of time for extra.
Yep.
And so whenever you're spending a huge amount of time with Dungeons and Dragons, it's really important to find time to decompress. Because like if you're this like in the heart of hearts, Dungeons and Dragons, it's a game.
Mm-hmm.
It is
Absolutely.
a game. It's a great way for a community to build a community and everything, and spend time with your friends. But if you're focusing on this so much to where it's turning into a job, you need to take a step back and like kind of find out, like reevaluate this and kind of, I wouldn't say isolate yourself from it, but find something else that really drives your passion, so that whenever you come back to it, you have a fresh set of eyes.
Right. And one of the things I was going to say is when you said it becomes a job, I mean, for some people, like what we're trying to do, we want it to be a job eventually. But right now, it is just a hobby. And,
But it shouldn't feel
like a
like
job.
a
Exactly. That's
job.
where I was going with it. Exactly. It
Mhm.
should never feel like a job, even if we get to the point where we're supporting ourselves with this stream and with the other ideas we have planned, and this is our careers and our job and what we're going to do, that even if we get to that point, it still can't be a job, because once it gets to that point, once it starts to be grueling, it is it's over. You know, you
Yeah.
so
My wife
I,
helped me.
I love your wife right now.
yeah, I know.
I love
She's
your
like
wife. She's
she's
amazing.
cracking the whip, man. She's
I have
like,
a I have
Uh,
storage shelves in our garage that I have all my modular, and also like that mountaintop, that snowy mountaintop is in there.
mhm.
Um,
You're gonna need
it's
to
it's a
put
great piece, and I love it. But
you're gonna need to put pictures of it up for the Critical Role fan
yeah,
page.
yeah.
yeah, I could definitely do that. I'll throw it in there.
For those of you who are
Um,
fans of Critical Role and you live in Texas, we have a Critical Role Facebook fan page and a Critical Role Discord that are very active, with a lot of
Yes.
really incredible creatives there who put out some
mhm,
serious stuff, and it is really amazing.
It's a lot.
absolutely.
It's been a lot of fun being a part of both of those.
Yep. Well, excellent. Well, thank
I was
you.
gonna say I really wish that Joshua was on for this one because he has a story like that he tells sometimes about how that was one of the reasons why he stopped running for Adventures League.
Yeah.
Because it started to feel like a job to him. It felt like so much work, and
that one
he
was a
Mhm.
totally
was not
different.
enjoying it as
Yeah,
much.
but that one was a totally different scenario because Josh and I was part of that
Hmm.
situation too. And in those situations, we were running games like once a quarter. We would run something called well, it was just a very large game, and it was a game that was happening simultaneously with usually a minimum of 4 tables, and that's 4 tables of full. So that's seven
Hmm.
players, a table, and a GM, and then an epic. Sorry, it was called an epic, and we would run 4 tables at one time. But my biggest epic I ever ran was, I didn't run it, but I participated in, was at a convention at MagCon, and that epic had one. No, no, yeah, it was 110 players, and GMs for all those, and it was a storyline that ran simultaneously on all tables, to where every single table could affect the meta of the storyline, and it ran for 6 hours. And then
Wow.
and
Yeah.
so that's the type of thing that Adventures League ends up becoming, because it is a narrative that is told throughout all these different tables, and they all affect the storyline, and it moves forward, and it requires so much organization. And so yes, I can completely get where Josh is coming from about it becoming
Yeah.
a job when it gets to that level of complexity. But we're kind of
Mhm.
talking about game tables
Yeah. No.
for
No. No.
individual
No. I
peoples.
know. It kind of
Yep.
just
Oh no,
coincided
no, I
with
know,
that.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
There is
Philip, what about
also.
you, sir? Oh, so go ahead, Anthony.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I
Mine's
was
another whole story, so I was
okay.
gonna break it up.
All right. So Philip, what about you, sir?
So I don't know if you remember last week me talking about this ancient DM secret about called winging it.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the ancient secret of winging it, um, but at the same time having some prep done,
Yep.
which I kind of talked about last week about having maybe a list of cities because you never know what players are going to do, and cities names. I mean, I've seen plenty of DMs who go into like a name generator
Absolutely. Name
and just
generators
have
and baby name generators are your friend,
and just
without a
have
I am
doubt.
a huge advocate for FantasyNameGenerators.com.
Yep.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Hey,
they have a huge list
D&D
of names they
Beyond
just
uses
know.
them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh, really? I didn't know
If you hit
that.
the name generator in D&D Beyond, it takes you straight to that website.
Yep,
Oh,
Oh,
that's
awesome.
awesome.
Yep.
yep.
So yeah.
Well, so you two have kind of talked about DM's prep. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about players prep. Um, I know for me as a player, I think back over the last session about what happened. um, and kind of think, okay, what's next? Usually, in my games, because I'm more of a player now, and I kind of quit DMing a while ago, but
Bad, Phil. Bad.
no, time commitments,
I know.
So think about the game. Usually, I have a text chat with the other players, and we kind of talk about what happened last session, how we want to go forward. Like especially if we were in the middle of a dungeon about to go into a fight, or if there was something that was something that's very technical that's about to come up, or big thing for players. If you are a spellcaster and you choose your spells on a daily basis, like clerics, wizards, druids, possibly.
Yeah,
Correct me if
druids get to pick their spells every day. Yeah.
Okay.
I only played a druid for like a really long time. That's what this shirt is from. It's my druid character.
Yeah, so have your spells picked out before the session because the last thing your other players want to do is wait 10 minutes for you to pick. Like, I understand in the middle of a session if you just had, a long rest in the middle and you found out, hey, we're about to go to the water. Oh, cleric, it might be nice to grab like underwater breathing or, control water. Or if you're about to go into the forest for 2 weeks, hey, it might be nice to do create food and water, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it should be like a real quick hot swap. Like when I play clerics, I have my main spells that I keep on there 100% of the time. I never switch them out. And then I have those couple of spells that are situational that I can swap back and forth. So usually it's pretty quick for me. Players, especially if you get a new spell or a new magic item, read.
Oh yeah, that's a very,
Nope.
very, very good point.
Yeah, one of the hardest
Nope.
classes to play, especially for a new player, is a caster.
Yes. Know what your spell does. Know the casting time on it. Know the range on it. Know who it affects. Your saving throw is the same across the board.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what saving throw it is. You should know the all the time. So it was like 10 plus proficiency plus whatever your stat is.
Your spell DC? Yeah, it's 8 plus your proficiency plus your stat bonus.
Yeah, spell DC.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell I say that a lot?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
same here. What's my save? It's written right. It's fine. It's 8 plus this.
Especially doing stuff like Adventures League, where 80% of your players every night are brand new, and no matter how many times you do it, how many times you say, okay, so you should probably play a paladin or a fighter or something.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. They want to be wizards.
I want to be a wizard whose parents are dead.
Whose parents were tragically killed in a mysterious fire.
What was it? Who said it? Somebody in Critical said it. It's like the most dangerous character to be in Dungeons and Dragons is not a player character. It's a player character's parents.
Yep.
Yes.
No one's parents ever
I love it.
anything. Oh, after the show, Anthony, I'm gonna tell you the backstory for my freaking stupid Strahd character. It's miserable.
Oh, it's bad.
It's horrible.
That's a
Did Kessie and Josh tell you about it?
Well, I know a little bit about it from what you've told us, like just a little bit, but I mean, I probably
Josh
don't know
knows
the whole thing. I don't.
It's horrible.
I know. No,
So anyway,
I'm
I'm more cruel to myself than I'll ever be to any of my players.
Good to know.
So, Anthony, you said you had another story about that?
Yeah, so right now we're running Out of the Abyss, which if you're a dungeon master and you're looking for a new like module to run, and don't do Out of the Abyss. It's really rough and it's very taxing. Well, what, Philip?
No, not you, Anthony. I'm looking at Kessie.
Oh, okay.
She knows.
Oh.
I know what I did.
This one knows.
And you know who the other one is? You know who Piff is, don't you?
Nope, I don't.
That's Faith. She's also too many swords in the chat. So
Oh, that's Faith. Hi, Faith.
that's
Okay.
Faith.
Hi, Faith.
Me and Faith and Jasmine all donated.
Oh,
By the way,
shit.
guys, we're up to $400 on extra.
Yeah, we're up to $400.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, sorry.
But yeah, so we're no, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah, so we're running out of the abyss, and there's like an intermission where because everything's in the Underdark, and there's an intermission where you can go back on the surface world and just kind of decompress, basically. And I came up with a like a little mini campaign to kind of bide their time while they're up there. They ended up in Silvery Moon, which is part of the Forgotten Realms universe.
One of my favorite.
And that's where they spent most of the time. They did like a whole bunch of little side quests and whatnot. That's actually where the White Dragon happened too. And then they went over to, they got the message from, who was it? Brunor Battlehammer to say, hey, come meet me because we have more work for you to do. And yeah, we went to, they said that like Sundabar and Everland, they were kind of like a little lackluster as far as my prep goes. I'm like, all right, fine. Whenever they get to Yartar, I'm going to have this whole like new side quest for them to do. And on their way to Long Saddle, where they can go over to where they need to go. And like I had roughly like 15 to 20 pages of notes on Yartar, side quests, and I went ham. And I kind of really pandered to their like sense of murder hobo-y. And like they were going to get contacted by the Hand of Yatar, which is like a thieves guild there. Apparently they did something that pissed them off. So they kind of got the whole page that said like, you know, like the Dark Brotherhood in Oblivion, where it's like, we know what you did kind of thing. But it said, you have been marked, you leave the city of Yartar. And that's where I was pandering for them to be like, oh, hell no, we're going to go find these people. And I had like this whole story of star-crossed lovers, like really Romeo and Juliet style. And where like the sister of the Hand of Yatar is trying to be with a person of the Lord's Alliance, and you know, but they really weren't able to do anything. But instead, they got the note and they're like, nah, and they just left. They just left the city of Yartar, and I'd spent weeks and weeks of building like this whole thing of like, you know, this whole side quest to kind of really give that whole immersion into this city that they were going to be part of. Yeah, and then they just spurred their horses and rode off into sunset.
I was going to say,
like,
you put a shit ton of work into it. You put a massive amount of hours into it. They skipped it.
Yep.
And like part of me was like, I was really frustrated, but then like I couldn't help but just laugh at myself. Because I mean, that just goes and like, don't, if it works for you and you have the time to do it, go for it. But just kind of, you have to have the expectation of that they're just going to ride off into sunset and not do anything.
I'll tell you, that brings us back to a story, and Kessie will know this one because it actually caused some problems.
I was gonna say I also have a story after that.
Yeah, we have a thing on the Texas Critters Facebook page and the Texas Critters Discord where if people are having a bad day, we just get together online and hang out. And it doesn't have to be the show or anything like that. We just do a video chat because people need support. So, you know, we're here for each other. So one of the things, we were on the support one time, and one of the Texas Critters who was getting ready to run a game, he basically asked me specifically, and he was like, hey, I'm having a real hard time. Some of my players are writing these really elaborate backgrounds, and they're expecting me to include them in my story. How am I supposed to, how can I let them know that I have a story I'm trying to tell and they need to be part of that story? And I was like, and ladies and gentlemen, if anyone couldn't tell, I'm a giant asshole. I have very little filter. I fight really hard to be really nice. I was tired.
Yeah.
So I kind of went the fuck off. Because one thing I am is I'm always a player's advocate. Without players, GMs have nothing at all. But the first thing I said,
I think I came in on the tail end of that.
Yeah. The first thing you did. Yeah. The first
I
thing
did too.
the first thing I said to him right out of the box, I said, if you want to tell a story, if you want to tell a tale and control every aspect of it, write a fucking novel. I was like, you are not a GM. I said, if you want your players to have a good experience, enjoy the game, and come back for more, then you take those backstories and you blend them into the narrative you've already created. You integrate them into the world you've already made because their backstories are important to them. They spent time on them. They put energy into them. How would you
Mm-hmm.
feel if your players came into the world you created and ignored every single plot hook that you ever put in front of them and disregarded everything you did and did anything else? And I was like, and the biggest thing about that is that's what they're gonna do because no GM's creation survives encounter with the players. Period. They change everything.
Everything.
And that's
Exactly.
why you have to be fluid. You can have a meta, you can have an
Mm-hmm.
overarching story, and the players will think of the meta as a straight line when you run. And your players go back and forth across the line.
Mm-hmm.
They come back and forth and they re-engage with the meta over and over and over again, and that's when you drop your hints, and that's when you drop your clues, and then you just keep on doing that, and you keep on tagging their backstories into the meta
Yeah.
because eventually they'll be forced because of all the stories that they're trying to play out themselves to deal with the meta you will create. And no, you don't flip the table. Too many swords.
I just saw one of my players had put it in chat like, we hear you talking shit, Anthony. I see you, yes. I mean, like I've found that like the actions of my players have really like helped drive the narrative in different ways. Like, I mean, my players, because of the murder hobo, we have a faction of wizards hunting them down, which has been a great narrative. That's something that I wasn't really planning, but like now that it happened, I'm like, oh man, this is great. This is a great plot hook.
And
Yeah.
like Tiny Pencil just said, he says every time, the opening to every game I run, I tell my players that this might be my world, but it's your story.
Yes, absolutely.
And that
Exactly.
is so
Exactly.
critical that every GM needs to understand that. Now, when you
Hmm.
start out gaming, you got to understand something. You're not always going to get the table that is into role playing and story. You might get people who are just into mechanics and they want to go kill shit.
Yep.
That is perfectly acceptable. You know what I mean? There's no wrong way to run the game. But if you have players who are putting in that extra effort and you don't acknowledge it as a GM and you don't incorporate it and you don't take that gold that they're giving you and cash it in, you are failing them as a GM.
Mhm.
And I am, and like I said, I'm an advocate for the player. So, and he got really fucking upset with me. And he was like, "You're shitting all over my creation. You're shitting all over my world." And I was like, "Actually, you haven't told me a
Mhm.
single thing about your world. I'm
Yeah.
shitting over the fact that you're shitting on someone else."
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're not willing to let your players have at least some sort of creative input into the story, then you're ruining it. Like you're ruining everything. Like you
You're
can't
ruining
just
everything.
you're ruining everything. But I was gonna say because that actually that is like 100% about like what the story I was gonna tell. That's from our Monday night campaigns, which Josh runs for us.
That's
And
Josh Runyon who
he
runs our
Josh
Sunday shot
Runyon.
game.
Yep. Yeah. He's been my DM for 4 years now. And one of the people who got me to play D&D in the first place. And so at one point in our Monday night campaign and this is, at least a couple of years in, we had this big epic boss battle, and one of our players was playing a wild magic sorcerer and rolled on that
Those are
table
fun.
and summoned a unicorn, which then proceeded to murder all the bad guys that were left. And we were like kind of on the ropes. Like it was a really dicey situation at that point. Like we were getting towards the end of the battle, and like the bad guy, like the big bad, was literally about to like probably like flee, run, and try and get out of there. And so it was like it was not a good situation, like because of course, so obviously we didn't want him to get away and then some of us were really close to going down and stuff. And it was actually, we did have, it wasn't an actual player character, but we did have somebody who died in the process of that battle that was fighting with us. And like, it was just, oh man, it was a real rough one. But then, yeah, he summoned a unicorn, and that unicorn just demolished all the rest of anything that was evil on the playing field. and at the end of it, we're like, okay, well, that worked. And Josh is just like, he was supposed to get away. He was supposed to get away. There was supposed to be more. Like, I had all of these things planned, and now, well, here's where we're at.
My
like,
wild magic
he
sorcerer,
hated
my
every
player just
time
greases
we bring
himself
up
on
that
accident.
story. Yeah, every time we bring up that story, he's just like, well, our wild magic sorcerer, he got really upset with one of the things that happened, and it's one of the ones that seems so trivial and shouldn't upset somebody. But he very specifically had his because he was a drow, and his age was 69, and so he got aged by 3 years, and he was pissed about it. He was so upset because his age wasn't 69 anymore. So he was just like, is there a way to reverse this? Is there a way to make this like not happen? And it was like, no, only if you roll on the thing where it, moves you back 3 years again. But other than that, nope, there's no way to undo it. So he was so frustrated.
One of my players is a wild magic sorcerer, and yesterday we were playing our game, and he greased himself on accident because of a wild magic surge. And the other one is he went back 9 years. He aged himself backwards 9 years, so now he's a 17-year-old apparently.
Oh no!
Wow, that's nice.
Oh.
Yeah, it was great.
Aspiring DMs and current DMs, let me tell you something that you cannot prepare for. That is throwing a demon and or devil at your party and then making a deal and absorbing it into their body. How do I know
that's called
this?
Being a warlock.
Because I am the player who did that. Yes, I am a warlock. I am the player who did it. Totally ruined a very well built fight that had mechanics and totally actually it was other Josh guessing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was his thing, and
our
was
our
not
other
expecting
another Josh
it.
that we know, not the other Josh from the show.
Too many Joshes.
We know
we know
too many Josh.
a
We
lot.
know way too many Joshes.
I think I mentioned that today, the amount of Joshes that we know in this community.
Oh yeah. Because the Josh he's talking about, I've actually played with before too. He's cosplay. God, I'm reading chat, and so the word cosplay keeps going by. No, but he's run games for me as well, like a one shot that we've done and stuff. So I know him real well and played with him.
Tiny Pencil just put in chat, don't stat things you don't want killed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
I was like, how many hit points does it has? You'll find out.
Yeah, right.
What's its armor class? I'll let you know when you hit it.
Yep.
All right, so
You're asking me to order cupcakes on stream, wife.
Yeah, your wife and Megan is like going nuts. So
I know.
I see
This
that.
is awesome.
One last thing regarding like over prep and whatnot. Like you really can't underestimate the power of theft.
yes.
Like never like totally ripping off the content for your home game. Now, that being said, if you are running a game that is going to make you monetary gain, don't do this. Don't be that guy. But like my world for my home game has elements of Critical Role, Forgotten Realms, The Witcher, and Homebrew. I picked to pull other people's works for my content for my home game because for one, it cuts down a lot of the prep time and allows me to have a more expansive and immersive narrative that I am not I am not as good of a storyteller as like Matt Mercer or the name escapes me right now, but the Drist series guy.
Ari Salvatore.
Thank you. I know it was like letter name, but
letter name.
also like it mitigates the burnout effect that I was talking about earlier. Is you steal from people so that you can have fun in your game if that is something that you struggle with. I mean, yeah, like I said, like as long as you're not profiting from it.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of these folks, these world builders and novelists, they're totally fine with like, yeah, please take my stuff, have fun. Like Matt Mercer came out with 2 campaign settings for it.
And he said, take
There's
what you want,
a Witcher,
whatever.
yeah, and then there is a Witcher 5e engine that people have made. But yeah, it's like use like there's not really any such thing as a what is it an original idea anymore. Just
yeah. I mean, and
there's
when you're talking about that, you know where I get most 90% of my storyline from. I literally steal it from my players. As they are discovering and creating conflicts within the world that I'm laying out for them, I like, okay, so they pissed this bartender off, but they don't know that this bartender runs his bar as a as a meeting point and a rest house for the local thieves guild, and he's pissed them off. So now they're trying to leave town, and they suddenly get mugged because the bartender's cased them, and he knows that they got magic items and money and everything like that because they were flashing around coins when they were paying for drinks.
Yep.
So later on, they get mugged trying to get out of town. And usually they'll mop the floor with the guys mugging them, but now the whole thieves guild is like, okay, so we can't let someone get away with doing that. So
I really wish that my players messed with the Hand of Yartar because that would have been a lot of fun.
Yep. But yeah,
instead of just running off to sunset.
But yeah, the big thing is, that is a big thing is there's no such thing as too much prep. There is a such thing as too little. Which is basically doing things like ignoring your players, or doing stuff like that, taking things and not trying to make allowances for your players and what they're going to do because you can't, but making allowances for what your players are going to enjoy. If they put a shit ton of effort into their characters, then go ahead and take that effort and utilize it. You're not stealing that from them. They're giving that to you to use. And you should never turn that away, because that is fucking just, that's real effort they put in. That's time they spent. And I always say one thing about DMing. DMing is an incredible responsibility for one very particular reason. And this is really cliche, this is really sappy, but give me a second. Every single one of us only has a finite time on this planet. So every second of your life should be precious. And these people are coming to your table and giving you their time for you to try and spin an enjoyable experience for them. That is fucking real. And you should respect that. And if they put effort into that, if they make backstories, if they develop characters, if they engage in your game and are there and participating, you should acknowledge that and respect it. Because, in the end, it's a real thing they're giving you. Time is real. And they're giving that to you so you can help them tell this story. And yeah, you'll have a story to tell too. I have a story to tell right now. The Firefly game, I've got an entire meta laid out. But I don't give two shits when they get to it. Because right now they're having a good goddamn time killing themselves.
Oh my god.
Kissy, you're gonna cry already?
Gonna die. We're all gonna. I'm not crying. I am not crying. Don't you dare put a number on that counter. Don't you dare. But God, we're all gonna die. I literally was just saying this morning on the Critter Discord, because we did our good mornings to everybody and stuff, and Josh piped in and stuff, and I was just like, and we started talking about the game last night, and I was just like, God, I really, 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 really hope you wake up. And he was like, me too.
Ladies and gentlemen, we had the closest thing. Okay, I've had TPKs in the past, but we have had the closest thing to a non-player decision, non-player action caused TPK. Literally, the dice rolls were so, oh my god,
the dice rolls were awful.
That they nearly killed the entire party.
that dice roller for that, like, it just hates us. It hates all of us. Me and Josh in particular, though.
You and Josh Hawkins.
We both got
everyone except for, we had 5 people playing, and everyone but 2 rolled triple critical failures. And in that game, if you roll 4 ones in one combat thingy, one session, you're taken out. So they were 1 die away all the time from going out of the scene. It was freaking insane. So, yeah, it was amazing. But anyway, we're going to thank you guys very much for this.
Faith is just saying words at me, trying to like get me to cry.
I know.
Why? Why do y'all like to see me cry so much? I don't understand.
Because we have a goal set for the end of the year in Kessie tears.
It's so easy though. Like, it's so easy to get me to cry. I cry about everything.
Can we use tears as material components?
Yes, we can.
Cool.
Okay, cool.
There we go.
Cool.
Don't you remember Harry Potter?
I'm being helpful.
We can go to the
Yeah,
positive.
absolutely.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we have one more topic we want to discuss, but we're going to take, I'm out of drink, and I've talked so much, I'm going hoarse. So we're going to take a 10-minute break. It's 8 o'clock, 8:02. We'll be back at 8:12. We're going to take a 10-minute break, let everyone get drinks and, clear their throats and everything like that, and we'll be back in 10 minutes. So we thank you very much for your patience. We'll see you in 10. fellas and gentlemen, thank you so much for letting us take that little break. Everyone is now rehydrated and ready to talk. And the second portion of tonight's show is about something that I just found out about today. Technically, I've known about it for a little bit, but some things happened today that have taken this to another level, and we wanted to address it. Recently, a couple of different people have put out things like, I got them, but they put out like a series of minis were put out for characters in wheelchairs. It was STL files for printing minis, 3D printing stuff, but they were put out characters in wheelchairs, and that inspired a author for D&D books, D&D items, to actually write up stats for a combat wheelchair. So
Sarah, right?
yeah, and so she
Mhm.
wrote up stats for it, and it went around the net, and it basically kind of blew up as something incredibly inclusive, right?
Yes.
And so
I
it
was
was
so excited
yeah,
about it
and it
when I
was
saw it.
created by a Twitter user called Mustang Art. She is an advocate for inclusionary people for in RPGs, and that's her handle on Twitch, Twitter, I should say,
Mustang's Art.
is Mustangs Art, MUSTANGSART. So at Mustangs Art. And yeah, she did. There's some incredible fucking minis. They're gorgeous. I already downloaded the files.
Yeah.
As soon as I print everything from the contest, I am printing those out because they are
Mhm.
amazing.
Yeah.
But she
They're
also did up stats
incredible.
for them. And something happened that, I mean, I guess in a way we should be used to this because there's horrible people everywhere, even in our community. But people began making horrible comments about how unrealistic it was, how stupid it was, how ridiculous it was, and it just got worse from there. I mean, her Twitter is blown up with all these. I mean, it's blown up with a whole bunch of supportive posts. Let me start out by saying that there is the grand majority of all the posts are supportive. They all are about, yeah, this is badass. This is giving people the ability to, to be
Yeah.
part of this no matter what and to feel like they're really being included. But there are posts like, oh my God, one of the worst ones I saw the other day was, why would anyone who is trapped in a chair want to come into a game and be trapped in a chair when they can pretend to have legs?
Wow.
That
Yeah.
was like, I was just like, I would like to say fuck you, but I can't find your ass.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, how about go fuck yourself? How about that?
Right?
So anyway,
I literally said that in our Discord chat earlier because I didn't realize that there were negative opinions on this out there. All I had seen so far from anyone that I know personally who had been talking about it had all been super excited about it and super like stoked about it and everything. I had not seen anything negative about it yet. And so I literally was unaware. And so as soon as like Ray posted that article and I read through it and then we were talking about it, I literally said on the Discord chat, like, why are these people like upset about something in a fantasy game and like that's helping include people? I was like, get fucked. Like for real. Like those are the kind of people who are just the worst, the absolute worst.
And I will say this, I posted that article not just to Dinner and a Game. I blasted it. I posted it out everywhere. And the main reason I did that was not because, I was like, oh, I'm going to spread the word about this shit. I was doing it as a litmus test. I posted it out there, and I'm a fucking shitty person. I was fishing for trolls.
Oh, yeah.
You were waiting
which
for
is
it.
fine.
Yes.
This is great.
And so this
when it's
article,
those kind of people, I'm down for it.
This article was published out on several different things, but what really got everyone kind of what made it explode was Wizards of the Coast addressed the issue.
Yeah,
Okay?
Jeremy Crawford.
Jeremy Crawford came on Twitter and said D&D is a co-op game in which we weave fantasy tales for our mutual bliss. If someone wants to play a hero in a wheelchair, for example, uphold their bliss. especially if that hero reflects their real life experience. We are all happier when we support each other like this. And
Mhm.
so, I mean, that's fucking amazing to hear them come out and say that. But there are other things that were said that were just like, why did that even need to be?
Why is that the
Why is
thing
it?
that you feel the need to put out there on the internet? Like you
Yeah.
could literally, you can have that opinion, fine, sure. But why feel the need to voice that on the internet and like put that out there? Like why feel the need to bring somebody else down like
Yeah,
that?
she
I
is
Yeah.
the
just
person
don't
who
get
wrote
it.
this up. Was she's written for our Talosorium Games. Our Talosorium Games. She's written stuff for the Witcher tabletop RPG.
Yeah, that's
She
the
is
one I was
writing.
talking about
Yeah,
earlier, The Witcher.
yeah, she's writing
Mhm.
stuff currently for the new Hellboy tabletop RPG, which we backed the
Yeah.
Kickstarter. And I'm so
Woo!
excited for that fucking game. Oh my god, I love that world.
So is my wife. She's a
Yeah,
huge Hellboy
Hellboy
fan.
fan. Yes,
Oh, there
yes.
she
Hey,
goes.
There she
that
goes.
that sounds like fuel for another one shot for dinner and a game right there.
I know,
Or
but
I'm
or
sure
if
my
we
wife would
finish
be love to
something,
join.
or if we finish something, a new campaign even.
yep, absolutely. But she, one of the horrible comments was made was it was about her in particular, and the person said, "Pretty sure they don't actually game. They make this stuff
Yeah.
up, make this stuff, and talk about it online and feel good. I doubt they've actually played an actual adventure in their lives. They're like the stereotype of the housewife who goes to the book club, but all they do is hang out and drink wine and never actually read the book." And I was just like, see,
That
and
comment,
that is just
oh, made
what
my skin crawl.
it's just like,
Yeah.
why? I mean, okay, attacking a person's work for the merit or credibility of the work is one thing, but the toxicity of this goes to now they're just turning into personal attacks for no fucking reason other than they have no
Yeah.
point. They're just being toxic to be toxic. So they're going to attack someone on a personal level because they can't make a constructive counterpoint.
Yeah, no, like that's completely unacceptable. Like you
Like,
should.
if you don't
I
like the
don't.
wheelchair, cool. You don't like the
Don't
wheelchair.
don't
Use
use it.
it.
Like
It is an
there's
option of the game to
yeah.
again. This is a fantasy world we play in. We're playing make believe. Okay.
Sorry, Jessica just said in chat, what is this Finnish thing you mentioned? True, right? Like,
Imagine-
we won't ever
imagine-
finish anything, but
Imagine telling
So-
something that they've never even played a game, and then like, but they've actually published all of these things for these games.
I know.
so that's
Fuck yourself,
another thing that really annoys me. It's like if you're you should never attack somebody personally. You just shouldn't do that because that's awful. But if you're going to,
Yeah.
you might want to at least like research the person you're attacking
Mhm.
so you don't make yourself look like a bigger idiot by
Yep.
like being that kind of douchebag of like attacking somebody for something that they actually are a professional at,
Yeah,
pretty much, you know? Like like really, if you're gonna be a douchebag, at least do your homework first. Like
Now, Phil, what were you saying?
Yeah, so this is an option to the game. It is not every adventurer is going to be in a wheelchair now.
Yeah.
Go back to 90s cartoons, 2000s cartoons. One of the biggest characters of one of the biggest franchises ever is in a fucking wheelchair. Talk about Dr. Xavier for those of you who do not know.
Mm-hmm.
And he is like one of the most powerful people. I was talking to one of my friends here earlier, and he watches Critical Role. He knows about D&D. Has never played,
Mm-hmm.
and he even made the comment like, why does it matter if it's in the game? Just don't use it, you know. And then we started kind of getting into like details. He's like, okay, well here, kind of play devil's advocate a little bit back and forth.
Yep.
Like, okay, I saw some of the tweets were like, oh, I'm a new adventurer in a wheelchair. I hope nobody tips me over and I become
completely
I saw that
useless or
one.
something.
That
Yeah,
one,
yeah,
that's the
that's
one that
what-
pissed me off.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
boy, here
that
I go.
one
I mean,
got
they all
me
pissed
really
me off, but that
yeah.
was the catalyst.
That one,
Yeah.
that one really got me too.
And he
I was
said
like,
that in
"Are
reply
you
to Jeremy
fucking
Crawford.
for real?"
He said
Yeah,
that in reply to
like-
Jeremy Crawford.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Yes.
Like,
But
No,
you're
it's a direct reply to
fucking
Jeremy Crawford. He
stupid,
said, "Oh
bro.
boy, here I go on my
So
first adventure
stupid.
in my battle wheelchair. I sure hope nobody tips me over, rendering me immobile and helpless for the rest of the combat." And I have
Yeah,
something to
okay,
say to that.
that's
I have something to say to that. Has anyone ever seen Slaughterball?
No, I was gonna talk about this. Yeah,
Fucking
exactly.
Slaughterball is insane.
Intense.
It
yes.
is
It's so
guys in
intense.
Oh yeah, yeah,
wheelchairs.
yeah. No,
They
no, no. I
can't
know.
call
Yeah,
it.
I know. Yeah, I know
They
exactly what you
can't
mean.
call it basketball
Yeah,
because they don't dribble. They call
yeah.
it Slaughterball, however, because they're in wheelchairs and because they're playing basketball. They basically put the ball in their laps. They roll around, but these guys get up huge heads of speed, and they
Yeah,
slam into each
slam
other with
into
so
each
much
other.
force that they send each other flying.
Why?
And
Yeah.
they
wait,
get
wait,
flipped
wait a second.
over, knocked upside down.
This is an actual sport. This is not
Yes.
like
Yeah,
No,
this
it's
is
real.
a real
It's
life thing.
real.
This is a real life thing that people
It's
play.
insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
absolutely
they get
insane, but it's
they get sent
amazing.
flipping. And this is
I
here's
just see you're
wait
like
wait
you're just
Phil
like, oh my
Phil
god.
Phil wait. Here's the rules. If they get knocked out of their wheelchair or their wheelchair gets flipped over, they cannot get help. They have to get
Mhm.
back into the
In
chair on their own.
themselves.
They have to right the chair on their own. These guys are in amazing shape. I watched a guy literally he held he flexed his stomach muscles and flipped his chair over and then launched his hands off and landed upright. And that
It's
chair weighs like 20 fucking pounds.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
insane. It's so insane, but it's so amazing, and it's
Yeah.
like it just
And these
proves
guys are like in
the
the
point
condition
that
of
all these
professional
people are
athletes.
trying to make. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's so stupid.
listen, it's probably gonna be close to 5 in the morning when we get finished here. I know what I'm doing after this.
You're YouTubing
Yeah.
some Slaughterball.
To educate myself on Slaughterball.
Yeah,
This may be a new
because
sport.
it like, for anyone who hasn't seen it, yeah, like, look that up. That would show you what the mechanics can be for somebody in a wheelchair. It is completely and 1000% possible and logical for somebody to literally do battle in a wheelchair
Mm-hmm.
and it not be an issue
Right.
at all.
And another thing
Like,
that one of the other things that was being brought up is because she actually created stats for the
Mhm.
battle chairs, and the battle chairs were given certain things that this is the other thing. The grognards and the rules lawyers were screaming because the battle wheelchairs had abilities, like the battle wheelchairs can levitate, so they can go upstairs. Okay, and so people were saying, well, that's broken. And they were saying like the battle wheelchairs have built a built-in attack. It's kind of like a slide attack where you kind of like spin and you basically slam the wheelchair into someone. And so they were like, well, now you have an attack. And she was like, and she fucking answered every single fucking one of those questions like a
Mhm.
fucking champ. And she did not get pissed off at people. She did not throw out name calling. She just
oh
fucking straight
man,
up addressed
Yeah, that
every
was
single
a lot
one.
of
that's
great.
that's
Yeah.
that's a better person than I am, because
Yeah.
there's no way I would
And
be
she
able to do
basically
that.
said-
There's no way. There's no way.
Yeah, I think the only thing spicy she said was that one guy who was like, said that she was like, some kind of soccer mom, something like that. The only thing spicy she says, can you imagine saying this about a published tabletop RPG writer who wrote an adventure for Talasaurium Games and the Witcher tabletop RPG and is currently writing an adventure for Red Cards Gaming's official Hellboy tabletop RPG? Laughing my
Right.
ass off.
Yeah.
Big incel vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, and again, what people are saying in the chat is what I said about it from the very beginning, is that this is a fantasy game. So it's
a
like,
fucking game,
it,
yeah.
first of all, it doesn't have to make, the thing I was trying to make the point of is it actually is 100% like logical. Like, so the people who try to make a claim that it doesn't make any sense or it's not logical, you're wrong. But yeah, but because it's a fantasy game, it doesn't have to make sense. It's fantasy. Like, bro, like,
So,
there's
to that
people
point-
slinging spells around. Like, it's not for real.
There's people fucking
Like, it's-
flying with Black Raven
there's
cloaks.
people flying. Like, yeah, there's people doing all sorts of crazy ass shit that doesn't happen in the real world. Like, it doesn't matter? Like, why are you trying so hard to exclude people from enjoying this amazing game? Like,
Hang
why?
on one
What is
second.
the point of that?
Axum
Sorry.
09. The floating wheelchair is where the suspension of the leash stops. That is a personal problem.
Oh no, he's being sarcastic. That's one of my
Oh,
players.
oh, thank God.
Yeah,
Thank God.
He's being
Thank
absolutely
God. I was like,
sarcastic.
oh my God, I'm about to go the
There's
fuck
characters
off.
that get their arms chopped off. There's robot people.
There's
Faith, I
robot
love
people.
you.
No, that's
God,
that's my paladin that
Yeah.
I.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the one thing she addressed with that when they were talking about the levitating ability of the wheelchair, she was like, if you're really going to stop someone from feeling like they are part of a game by stopping the wheelchair from being able to levitate up a flight of fucking stairs, you need to spend more time looking at yourself than you do the gaming community or the game.
That is
world
incredibly
you can travel
accurate.
through different planes of existence in like a blink of the eyes, or like rides dragons into the.
But
combat.
good lord,
Why is it so
somebody trying to
abnormal?
fight in a wheelchair is absolutely
wheelchair?
ridiculous.
Yeah.
So here's what
God.
I want to see, and again, this is me and my buddy talking about this, kind of workshopping it.
Sure.
I want to see a ranger with an animal companion, and the wheelchair is now a chariot.
That would be badass.
An armored bear, because we were talking like, oh, how, if you were a spellcaster, yeah, that can make sense. Well, like, what if you're a barbarian? And I was like, dude, Roman chariots, they had like the swords on the wheels,
Yeah, shit
And
like that.
Yeah, and
So-
there's upgrades for the chair. Like you can get armor plating on it, you can put spikes on it, and everything like that. Now and she even had cost lists like in money. Like, okay,
Like
you start out with
what
a
these
basic
would
battle
cost,
chair,
yeah.
but then as you level up, you can buy these add-ons for
upgrade
the
it.
wheelchair and everything like that. And so she has all this shit. She did so much fucking work for this.
Oh,
Yeah,
and these
God,
people were
I love
shitting
Faith.
on it.
Faith said a sidecar.
A sidecar.
I mean, Ray, you and I were talking about this earlier. We're like in the Cinema of Avernus, they have like these like those war machines, right? In the Nine Hells, like that are powered by like magic and everything. Like, what's keeping you from implementing like a more accessible fashion? Like, how fucking awesome would it be to be like just a medium-sized contraption that somebody sits in that's barreling towards you with like fucking spikes and smokestacks coming out the back?
Dude.
Yep.
Oh
So
my God.
Here's my big point on this. Well, let me start with this. I saw on Twitter these guys were fighting back and forth about this just a couple days ago, and one guy was like, "How does it make sense for wheelchairs to be part of this like fantasy game when you literally have spells that can bring people back to the dead? You have spells that can regenerate stuff." And another guy came back and was like, "Yes, but that costs money." It was going back and forth. Well, then something in the back of my head ticked. I don't know if everybody remembers this, but in the Eberron book, so there's a precedent for a wheelchair.
There's a precedent
And
for a wheelchair in Forgotten Realms.
In
You mean this book right
Yeah.
here? You mean this book right here?
So if you go to the treasures part of that, Kessie,
Okay,
You go
hold
down-
on one second. Give me a minute.
She's gonna find it right now for
She
everybody.
gonna
I'm gonna
and
find
she
it
gonna
right
beat
now.
you up with it.
Hell yeah. Are you fucking kidding me? A chance to pull shit directly from material to like put into people's faces? Fuck yeah.
so
I'm all about it.
I'm on D&D Beyond right now, and I got pulled up.
Okay, where does it happen to say what page it's on specifically? I'm in the treasures area. What's it called? It's
It
all
is the
alphabetical.
Arcane Propulsion Arm.
Yes, arcane propulsion arm.
Mhm.
Okay, what is that second word under the description?
I love this. I love this so much. Prosthetic. This prosthetic appendage was developed by artificers of House Cana.
So here's the thing.
Oh my God, I love this.
In
This is-
officially published Wizards of the Coast book,
Mm-hmm.
there is already precedent for people
Prosthetics. Yeah.
prosthetics. Why do we need prosthetics if we have regeneration as a spell?
Mhm.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? Well,
Regeneration
Because-
is a fucking high level spell too,
Oh,
so like
yeah.
it's gonna
Yeah.
be super difficult to get.
and I mean,
Notes.
and this is not something that's like a common thing. It's a wondrous item. It's very rare, but still, like, it's still a way to include people, and because like maybe, just maybe, it's a wild thought. Maybe people out there don't want to regrow their human arm. They want something cool like this.
And also,
maybe
like, it's a wondrous item
who-
because it has magical properties.
Yeah. It's like,
not because of the functionality
maybe,
of a prosthetic arm.
maybe somebody wants to play a character who happens to be in a wheelchair and has this badass battle wheelchair. Like, why would you keep people from doing what they want to do with their fantasy character, expressing themselves?
Yeah.
Like,
Tiny Pencil just said, "Hidden crossbow and a fake arm has saved my rogue more times than I care to admit."
yes, that is amazing.
And Faith just said,
exactly.
"Disabilities are allowed at the
Disabilities
table."
are allowed at the table.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Disabilities are always allowed at the table.
There should never be. There should never be any instinct in you to tell somebody no about a disability.
What is the rule of DMing? What's the word you never fucking say?
No.
You say yes and.
Yeah.
Yes, and,
exactly. You never tell somebody no. Like, especially if it's somebody who is wanting to make this character like this. Obviously, like, I don't know how other people, make their characters, but for me, when I start to make a character, I become very invested in that character. Like, I put thought into it. Exactly. Like, I put my heart and soul into my characters because that's the whole point, right? Like, you're trying to play out these things that are in your head or just whatever. Like, why would you want to limit somebody on that?
It's so hard to comprehend.
It's so hard for me to comprehend. I don't understand toxic, awful people. Like, I just.
Well, this toxic behavior didn't start with like this. Like, it's
been going around for a long time.
Long time. Like, I remember whenever there was like hearing like the movement, like the gatekeeping movement regarding like women in the community, right? And I know my home game wouldn't be anywhere as important to me as it would without like my players, my female players, and I know you could say the same like with Kessie and Jazz, and all of you guys. Like, you guys make this as much as a story, regardless of your gender or gender identity. And like, it's this community, while extraordinarily amazing as it is, it's like you're always going to have those really shitty people that are just spreading this hate and spreading this gatekeeping throughout the internet.
This
is just the new thing apparently.
I posted a link for something I found while I was doing my research today for this. Because, again, I knew it was in the book. I just couldn't remember where it was. I didn't know what book it was in, but I knew there was prosthetics in, like, officially published. I just couldn't remember where. So I did just a little Google search, and I found this. It's on D&D Wiki, and I think the link I posted, I think that's actually a homebrew, right? Or somebody took it, because there's multiple. There's common, rare, legendary.
Hey, there's
that's a full metal alchemist arm right there.
Hell yeah, man! It really is. Like, that literally looks like fan art of like.
No, I'm pretty sure it is, because it says a famous artificial limb, and that is.
And that's definitely.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
Also
in Everon, it's a 50-50 split for my table.
Yeah. Well,
in Everon.
Go ahead, Phil.
Along with that magic item, had you look up, there's actually a item. It's a wondrous item, common. Prosthetic limb. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
It's just a prosthetic limb. There's nothing magical about it.
Yeah, it says these artificial limbs have no special or magical enhancements beyond the ability to move based on the holder's will, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. But it's something so simple and so easy to just allow people to feel like they're included in this kind of game, and that's the part that just blows my mind of, like, You're going to literally tell somebody, no, I don't want you represented in any way, shape, or form in my fantasy game.
And it just
Like that just
Well,
really.
like this community, like the members, like the active members of the TTRPG community, tabletop role playing game community, like trying to actively exclude the members of accessible community who have motor impairments isn't only like just depressing to me, but it's also exceedingly frustrating just because of the work I've done in the accessibility field. For those who don't know, I work in accessibility, so for one of the biggest, if not the biggest, data companies in the world, and I work in the accessibility field, where like we help folks who are blind or part of the deaf community, motor and cognitive impairments, with technology to help them live their lives in a more inclusive fashion. And whenever, like, I don't know, spoiler alert, I'm also a huge fucking nerd. So like, whenever
No
like
way.
I see something like this in both parts of like my professional and my hobbies, trying to exclude that community, is just, oh my god, it fucking pisses me off. It's so that I feel like this whole section has just been a whole bunch of hey, we're angry at this. let
Yeah.
us let
It
us
has
talk
been.
about how angry we are.
But
Let's just talk about how angry we are for a
Yeah.
minute.
but the biggest thing comes around out
I'm surprised the angry tears haven't started flowing yet. Not yet.
Well,
I
the
am
biggest
too.
thing
We
is
might get there.
the biggest
We
thing
might get there,
about
though.
this, a biggest thing about this is, and this is something that comes back to our inspiration. Um, we are here because we fell in love with a show called Critical Role, and we decided we wanted to emulate our heroes and try and give back a little bit to the community by producing our own content, giving people something else to do, giving people something to watch, letting them know that everyday folks can make content too, and that's why we
Yeah.
originally started this. But as we
Oh,
as
hey,
a
wear
as
the
a
Critical
Critical
Role
Role
shirt too.
community grew up, certain messages, certain messages
Yeah.
became very fucking important.
Yeah.
And this the reason this is so upsetting to me is because the grand majority of the tabletop RPG community sees this message as our message,
Yeah.
because especially because a lot of the people who come here to play games come from a point of they didn't fit in most other places. We're
Mhm.
getting a lot of mainstream now. And we're getting a lot
Yep.
of people who didn't have the same situation. But a lot of people who are already here. We're here. We were here because we didn't fit in. We didn't belong.
Mhm.
And we found this place, and we found the safe place. And this is really key to why it's safe,
Mhm.
Yeah.
because we go out of our way not to judge,
Yeah.
Yeah.
not to do that. And now we're
Um.
sitting here getting upset, and we're judging. But the thing about it is we're judging people who are actively trying to hurt people.
Yeah.
We're
Like there's no need for that at
yeah,
all.
yeah, we're sitting here saying there's people that are coming to this community who think they're part of this community and think they're doing something in some way to defend this community, when all they're doing is trying to force what they consider to be the right way to do things
They're bringing in
on this
hate and
community.
all this. Ugh.
And the shittiest, the massively bad part about this is they believe they have a point.
Yep.
Yeah.
They believe that they're trying to defend something,
Yep.
and they don't. The majority of these people, they don't get it. They don't
Hmm.
get it that it doesn't fucking matter if you don't understand. And it
Yep.
doesn't fucking matter if you don't get it. Or it doesn't fucking matter if it doesn't seem logical to you. It's not a fucking about you.
Nope.
Yeah.
It's
And
about someone completely else.
yeah.
Hmm.
And you need to let them enjoy themselves and stop trying to fucking make yourself feel better.
Yeah.
If you're
Yeah.
confused, if you're upset, if you're confused by this, if it makes you feel weird, educate yourself.
Yeah.
Don't take it out on others.
Yeah.
Do everything you can to figure out why you're upset. Why does it make you feel weird? And even if it still makes you feel weird after that, you'll at least understand where those feelings are coming from. You'll at least know I can't deal
What
with
to
this.
fix.
I can't deal with this because it doesn't make sense to me because my brain just can't handle it. But
Mhm.
it still is okay for them to do it. I'm just
Like, I
not going to
can't
participate.
understand toxic people.
Well, that's different, Kessie. That's different. It's like saying, I can't understand why people would,
I don't understand people who hate other
I mean, we
people
can
for
we
no
can really
reason.
tie this in, and I don't want to go too far into it because that's a whole other topic.
Yeah,
But we could
you're
really
right.
that behavior and
I
that
thought you were saying a whole
mentality
other taco for a
of
second. I was like, tacos?
topic.
Tacos.
Sorry, that
Tacos.
whole mentality, it can also be very parallel with the whole All Lives and Black Lives Matter movement,
Yes.
It is.
Oh
It
my
is.
God,
It
which is
is.
yes.
something that
It
I'm
is
not
a
going to go
direct
into right now because that's a
correlation.
whole other thing.
Yeah, it's a whole
Yeah.
nother thing. But yes, I understand what you're saying and I agree wholeheartedly.
Mhm.
Like,
Well, it also ties into those people who oppose LGBTQ relationships in any way, shape, or form.
yeah,
Yep.
form.
It's the same
It's
situation.
all of that stuff. It's all of that stuff. I personally cannot understand somebody who hates another person for who they are, like when it has no bearing on your life.
I can unfortunately, well, not that.
I
I
don't understand it. Like, I really don't understand how you have that much hate in your heart for somebody
Here's the
else.
thing. I don't agree with it. I do not understand it anymore at all. But I did at one point. I was that person when I was younger. I was that person when I was in the army. I was a very shitty person, and I'm glad that I was able to kind of revamp my mentality to be
Yeah,
as much of an inclusive person as today. But I
I'm
understand.
glad
I
too.
definitely. I mean, I don't. I understand the mentality. I don't agree with it, and I
Yeah,
do not think that other people do. It is
and
an issue that you have that you need to resolve.
exactly. And then maybe I'm just lucky in the way that, like, because I know a lot of people who end up in that situation of hating certain people for certain ways, that a lot of people were raised in that way, or they were taught those things
I,
growing up and stuff like that. So maybe I'm just lucky
I
that
love my
I've
wife
grown up in a
so.
family
I love my
and
wife
that
so
I
fucking much.
I
She's
know.
putting up links to BetterHelp.com.
I know.
In
She's
other
so
words, get
amazing.
yourself some fucking therapy.
Yes, I just started therapy.
You're right, Tiny Pencil. It does bring mentality.
I have yes. And I know that personally as well because I have family members who have been in the military, army specifically, and like yeah,
It takes years to
it's
become
rough.
indoctrinated. It does.
Yeah.
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 And so it's something I've witnessed firsthand too. Um, but like I said, maybe I'm just lucky in the way that I grew up, and like that I've had parents who were always accepting and wonderful people and never thought that way. Unfortunately, older generations tend to. I have older generational people in my family who have definitely had some sort of viewpoints that I don't necessarily agree with. And
Sure. Everybody.
but I also feel like over the years, those people have changed some as well. And that makes me happy. That makes me so happy to see that, to know that those people don't have to stay that way, that you can change, you can educate yourself, you can learn that, like, what you originally thought about somebody may not necessarily be true, and you could be happy for them, and you could be okay with them living their life when it has nothing to do with you. So
Oh,
it's one of those things
I
that
just
is
had
great.
another idea for so in regards to like items that you could have in Dungeons and Dragons. Remember, you ever see Wild Wild West
Yes.
Yeah.
with Will Smith?
Yeah.
Dr.
Yes.
Lovelace in Wild Wild West had that contraption where he would float around.
spider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't even need magic for that. You don't even know you have
No.
artificers that do all this fun stuff. Why is
Yeah.
that so weird?
Yeah, I know. Like, I don't get it. Ow, cat, no. You've been
Frumpkins
nice
in.
you've been nice this entire time. Why now?
I mean, I guess in summary to everything that I was ranting about, like if you're excluding, and this is something that I've said a lot in conversations that Ray and I have talked about during our Critical Role things, is if you're excluding the opportunities to allow heroic deeds from the seat of a wheelchair, that's nothing more than gatekeeping and lazy narrative writing as a dungeon master.
Yep.
And
You are a
actually,
lazy dungeon master. You're a lazy storyteller. Do better.
Phil said something that brought something back to that topic, Anthony. When Phil was saying, when Philip said, this comes down to, there's all these things in the books and everything like that, have all these preconceived setups and everything like that. And these people were getting upset about this wheelchair situation because it was they perceived it making some kind of great change to the full narrative for the world that that Wizards of the Coast had for D&D. It goes right back to the whole giant blow up about Wizards changing from the racial stereotypes to
I was going to go into that too. Yeah.
Making there is no such thing as an absolute evil race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
if you can't hold on.
Okay.
This is
Anthony's going off.
Look,
I love it.
Like,
Let's
in
hear
my
it.
game, we have like half orcs and orcs and everything. And well, granted, like the one of my players made a really good comment is like, that the inherent evil stereotype came back from like whatever we were an ancient race, and like there were people on the other side of the mountain, and we didn't know anything about those people. So guess what? They were evil because they were going to try to take our stuff. Like that's not how people operate. That's not how sentient or creatures operate. If you need a crutch of being those green things over there are inherently evil, that's lazy narrative. That's lazy storytelling. Now, that being said, in that case, if you need a fictional character to be inherently evil whenever you first start out as a storyteller, that's acceptable, but do better. Learn how to be better, and make a more spectrum of a non-player character. Mm-hmm. It is not acceptable to do this like years and years and years and still have that crutch of being orcs are inherently evil, goblins are inherently evil.
Yeah.
And if you're that upset with this being a thing, do better.
Yeah.
So, Anthony, while you were talking, I thought of the movie. I think the movie's name is Bright. It was a Netflix original with Will Smith.
Bright.
Love Bright.
Yes,
they're making the sequel.
They're making a second one.
Are they really?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yes.
Love Bright.
So while you were talking about that,
Philip,
that
follow
movie,
Dinner in a Game. You'll know these things.
Yeah, I need to get on that. But yeah, so you have the. And I don't think it was bad storytelling. I think they told the story very well. But you have the orcs who are kind of, or I guess the magical creatures who are kind of looked down upon.
Mm-hmm.
Because they are different.
Well, the elves weren't.
Yeah.
Exactly, but it's just
have this orc cop. He's the only orc cop, and he comes in, and then nobody wants to be his partner because he's an orc, because they think he's a specific way. Where nobody wants to be his partner because they're afraid they're going to be looked at a specific way for having the orc partner. And yeah, so just while you were saying that came to mind, and I thought I'd just bring it up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bright is a great example of that narrative, of that really good immersive narrative that it's not good versus evil, it's people. It's people.
Well,
it's
it is the essential of what we deal with on a daily basis. Nobody is, unless you have a little malfunction in your brain, you're not just born an evil person.
And even then,
it is
a neurological disorder where it's not necessarily means that you're a bad person. It just means that you have a neurological disorder.
Exactly. But that's the people that you see out there that you would classify as evil, they're not all one race. They're not all one, it can be anyone and everyone. There's no bearing on what would make somebody be an evil person other than a chemical problem or a thing wrong with their brain.
Raising.
My wife just came back in.
What was that,
you
Philip?
were raised Like
that's what I mean by like a problem with their brain. Also, like I that's why I fixed it from saying a chemical problem, more like just like a problem with their brain. Like whether it be the way that they're raised, so that's the way they think. Like that still to me means a problem in their mind. You know.
But there's
Yeah.
the big kick between that and the psychological terminology for that is nature versus nurture. Okay.
Yes.
And what we're saying is there are some people who may be born with some psychological handicaps or
Yes.
psychiatric handicaps actually, which means that there is actual problems with the wiring in their brain to be
Yeah.
generalist of it, but
Yeah.
so they
Yeah.
will not have these concepts available to them. So they'll have to learn how to operate without those concepts and stay within the rules of society. That is what the neurodivergent person who has these issues has to learn to do. But
Yes.
that means that their nurture has to teach them that.
Exactly.
And that's what we're trying to say, that in what the old concepts of orcs and everything like that is that they were basically neurodivergent. They were wired evil. But we all
Yeah.
know that the concept of something being just wired evil is not real. I mean, there is such things as, the psychotics and people who have stuff like that, but they're not designed to be evil. Usually the ones who follow those paths and commit atrocities
had some other thing that triggers that, or like that
and
makes
that's why
them follow
that's why
that
they
path.
always say
Exactly.
that a true psychopath is incredibly rare, because it has to be a perfect storm to create one. And they
Yeah.
always say, though, almost always they'll say it in that type of terminology, to create one, not to have one born.
Born.
Right.
Exactly.
That's why you see like a lot of the I know we're going a little bit off track here, but
yeah,
you
we
see a
are,
lot of,
but it's okay. I like it though.
we so you see like a lot of hate coming from the older generations, not all the time, but a lot of the time, where your
I got
body
kudos from your wife.
Oh
did
yeah,
get kudos.
yeah, she's great. But so I have a theory, and I'm sure it's someone else has already proven it. But your body degrades, in that not just your body, but your mind degrades as well, and that's why you see a lot of hate coming from these the older generations, because as your mind degrades, you lose a whole bunch of cognitive disability or impairment or cognitive abilities.
Yes.
Yes. Exactly.
And a lot of times,
my mother
my
is
work
suffering from dementia. I completely understand what you're saying.
Yeah, and a lot of times in my work in accessibility, that the folks that have a cognitive disability, they are very paranoid. That paranoia really sets in, and it kind of sets back to a point in their life. They kind of default back to a point in their life where this mentality was socially accepted, and this mentality was like. So that's why you see, like, why are you like this? This is not a thing anymore. Like, they might have learned that over their years to where they're at now, but now that their cognitive ability is lacking, it's kind of defaulting back to that point.
Yeah. And that is another thing that you see a lot. Okay, we understand who we are on this show, but that is something that you see a lot with people who hold to those ideologies, that they hearken back to other times. And the thing about older times is, the reason things have changed is because we did not have the knowledge then that we have now. We did not understand things then as we do now. To hearken back to older times is to hearken back to a lack, not a bonus. You lose, you don't gain. Simpler usually means crueler.
Yeah. My wife made a good point. It's because all that's left is your mind, is your grades, is your prejudices. Because there you go. We all have prejudices, but with our conscious mind, we can control that. Losing your conscious mind leaves your prejudices open.
Yep.
Prejudices open.
Yeah, no, she's right. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why people. That's why
My wife's so smart.
she is
She's so
amazing.
smart.
But that's what I was
I
gonna
love
say.
her so much.
But what I was gonna say is, as we, that's why you see some things happen when people are also under the influence and are, have their inhibitions lifted. That's why you see people making horrible
Yeah.
statements. That's why
Yeah.
you see people saying things that are terrible. I mean, I have gotten drunk
Um.
and said horrible shit because
Yeah.
at our base we have these concepts in us. We're all in
Mhm.
the same society. We all say the same fucking news. That stuff is in your head.
Mhm.
You can't get away from it. You hold it back as a good person. You
Yeah.
restrain it
Yeah.
as a good person. But when you
Because you know
lift
that
off the,
that's not accurate
yes,
representation of who you are or
yes,
what you
I
should be.
I
yeah,
mean I have legitimate like real world situations of that, of like learning like that somebody you thought you knew and then watching them have a certain discussion while being drunk or whatever else, and then them voicing certain things that you, I guess, that they restrained for a certain amount of time, and you realizing like, wow,
Yep.
you
I'm
think you
dealing with
know
that with my family
somebody.
right now.
yeah.
uh, that's one of
Not
the
not
kind of
not
things.
my immediate family. They're cool.
They're cool.
That's one of the things that actually ended up ruining my relationship, my last relationship
Mm.
that I most recently exited, because I watched him voice his real opinions on something, and it was definitely not in line with my own, to a degree of like, that was like one of my turning points of like, I don't think this is good anymore.
Yeah,
Like, I don't think I can be with a person who believes these things truly.
Tiny
Like,
Pencil just said drunk words are sober thoughts. I disagree with
exactly.
that on one
Well,
very
well,
proper term point, because I understand that I have
for some people it
well,
is.
no, no. Yes, 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 yes. But I
Okay.
understand that I have certain viewpoints that have changed. Okay. I
Mhm.
used to be very racist against my own race. I am Hispanic. I don't look it, but I am Hispanic. My mother's maiden name is Hernandez. I am third generation legal in the United States. My great grandmother, literally on her deathbed, died in terror because she thought immigration was going to come take her away before she could pass away in the United States, so she would not be able to be buried beside her husband. I mean, she was literally, that was what she was,
God.
that was her last thoughts as she was dying. And so,
Mm.
that's a lot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's a lot.
so, but that didn't, as I was raised and as I was brought up, because my father is white and my mom is Hispanic, my own family treated me pretty badly because I was the
Mm.
white kid and I was a white kid that didn't speak Spanish. And
Mm.
that colored my viewpoint. That colored the way I looked at things. And that made me have some real bad issues as I was growing up. But I have moved well beyond those.
Mm.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
changed a lot about myself through personal choice,
Yeah.
through choosing to set those thoughts aside and acknowledging that it was horrific behavior
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
holding that in my heart as a point to never allow to happen again.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, if you guys don't
Yep.
mind, I want to kind of swing us back around
Sure.
to
Sure.
the
Because
and
we got on a really different topic.
Yeah.
yeah. So before I swing us back around, I want to put out to chat again. We got
Yes.
extra.
Oh, I was gonna do it too. I
We
wanted to
got
do it so bad.
the extra life going on right now. For as long as we're doing this stream, the dinner conversations, I'm matching donations up to $200. So we've already had $100 donated tonight. So if we get another $100, I will match that, and I will do $200 tonight. So guys, go in there, do your thing. Uh, my own fiance got me. Kessie got me. So um,
Well, I mean, if you were offering, I mean, I was like, I'm not gonna
absolutely.
not do it, you
Yep.
know?
So
Like
every little bit helps. If you guys
I
can
was
only
already
$5,
planning on donating. I got paid like 2 days ago, or yesterday. I got paid yesterday.
It's burning a hole in our
I was
pockets, ladies and
already
gentlemen.
I was already planning on donating. This was just that perfect opportunity
It
of
was.
like, oh
It
hey,
was
look at
excellent. And
that.
thank you so
Yeah.
much for doing that, Philip.
double your effort.
Philip,
Yeah.
that is really great.
But
So if you guys are going to donate $5, $10, it's going to get doubled. Just do what you can.
yep.
This is a really great charity, and your donation is going to be helping out children. So
Yes, and I think that's the biggest thing for me about Extra Life is the fact that the donations go out to help kids, and
Yep.
that
Yeah,
is,
same.
that's huge. So you have a message, Anthony.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we have we're a
My
little bit.
mom was walking in the background
I know.
earlier. I
yeah.
know she wasn't happy about it, but she
But
was bringing in my
I
laundry
think
for
we've
me.
we've covered this pretty extensively. So we're pretty much a little bit over time. We had blocked out 2 hours for this because we knew that the second half was going to get
It's gonna.
a bit big.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think, like I said, the majority of comments were supportive.
Yes.
It was
Yeah.
just to the
Which is good.
degree of the foulness of the other end of the spectrum, and the reminder that
A little bit stands out, though.
no community is without that level of toxicity, and it's
Yeah.
because it's human nature. There are people out there who are walking around and they're hurt.
Mhm.
Something happened. Something is still happening. Something is not meeting up to whatever expectancy they had. Something is gone horribly wrong, and they are walking wounded.
Mhm.
And the only thing that this does is it gives them something to lash out at to make themselves feel better. And I'm very, very sorry that that is true for you.
Mhm.
And I hope that it gets better.
Like
I'm trying to. Go ahead.
I just get so passionate about this, you know. I feel it feels a little crazy almost to a certain point because of the fact that like I am so new to this community. Like I've only been playing Dungeons and Dragons for about 4 years. And it's not even something that I was like yeah, I want to do this at first, you know. It was something that a couple of friends of mine were like, "Hey, we're doing this." And I was just like, "Oh, okay, I guess I'm doing this." And but it's become such a big part of my life, and I've said it before that it's saved me from a lot of
Same.
really terrible, horrible situations, and it has like I literally feel like it's saved my life. Like so I get passionate about these. I get passionate about these things because, like, to see other people be taken down in this community, like feeling low and feeling like unwelcome or unloved or, you know, whatever it is, like, that tears me up so bad because this is what saved my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I didn't have D&D over the last 4 years, I would definitely be in a much worse situation currently.
Yep.
And I don't, and the people that I game with personally, like, I don't know if I would have had the strength to get out of the situation that I was in had I not had those people. Like,
yeah, and that
has been a big part of my life.
Yeah, and that's just it. It's the community as a whole is what Kessie is describing, and it is got all these good people in it and all these people who want to take care of each other because we understand who we are and what we are, and that we were before all this D&D explosion of this modern golden age, we were the outsiders. We were the outcasts. We were the freaks. There's that wonderful TV show, Freaks and Geeks.
I may have not always been playing, but like that was definitely my life as well.
Yeah, I've seen your MySpace.
You've seen my MySpace pictures.
Oh man, MySpace.
Everybody on here
yeah, we had that whole
has.
conversation.
Yeah, we had that whole conversation. You guys got to see my emo phase. Yeah, you did start that, Anthony. Jesus.
Well, to be fair, I was because I was looking for my emo pictures, and I guess that's not on the internet anymore, which is good.
Well, and the ones that the very early Facebook photos that I have on there that are like my real bad one, like that's all I have. I can't get back into my MySpace because the email I used for then is apparently shut down, is no longer operational, and I don't know how to get back to it.
Oh,
But
the
Phil-
email that I used was fake before MySpace. They can verify.
Bye. Oh, nice. Yeah,
So
I tried to get back into
never-
my MySpace, and it was like, okay, we sent you an email, and I was like, oh fuck. And like, so I went and tried to go get into that email, and it's like, this email address does not exist, and I was like, the fuck, it does. It did at one point in time, and I actually got verification that I did have the right one because I went to go give. This is a really funny story and completely off topic, but I went to go give blood the other day. And the last time I gave blood, they didn't update my information in the computer. So it was literally from the time before that, which was when I was in high school. And so the guy was like, oh, yeah, your email address and all this stuff in here is from way back. And I was like, oh, hey, can you tell me what that email address is real quick? Because this was literally days after we had this whole conversation about MySpace. And I was like, hey.
By the way,
and
Cassie,
and he verified it for me, and I was like, well, fuck, then I guess it's just not operational anymore.
Cassie, Anthony's wife is going to be contacting your mom because she's pretty sure there might be physical copies of those pictures somewhere.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
there's
No,
not
I think she's
actually.
talking about my mom.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I was gonna
thought
say, I
she
was like, I
talking
bet
about
She's
she's
trying to
Cassie.
really
try to find
talking about
my emo
Anthony.
phase pictures.
Oh,
Yeah,
and
no,
tiny
actually,
pencil. Yeah, I've been around for a little bit longer than that, and yeah, there's always been that level of toxicity, especially when, and this is from back in my youth when I was like 12, 13, 14 years old, especially when girls would try and come to the table. I mean,
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. Yeah.
that was, I mean, that could turn into fucking kitty gotcha. That could turn into
Damn.
fucking hell on earth
yeah.
for
My
a
my
myriad
mother
of
played
reasons.
back. Yeah, my mother played back in high school, and luckily she doesn't have too horrible, because like literally the people she played with in in her circle and everything like that, they were just desperate for players.
Hmm.
So they were pretty welcoming of having her at the table, and it was her. So it's actually my mom's uncle. He's my great uncle,
Hmm.
but he's only 3 years older than my mom. So me and my mother both have. There's like been this generational thing in our family where we have people have kids really early and then really late. And so I have an uncle. I have an uncle who's 6 years older than me that I grew up with. That's like my brother. And same for her. She has an uncle that she grew up with that's only 3 years older than her. My grandmother has an aunt that she grew up with that's only 11 months difference from her.
Hmm.
But
Kind of
that's
sounds
the
like
second
my
one. Anyway.
home life because we have Shaylee who is 15 and now we have Asher who is 1.
Yeah. So, so he was the one who was like running the table, and he was the one who brought her in. And so luckily it had to do with, being with family, and then people who were actually accepting of just having any player at the table at all because they wanted to play. But, so, I mean, as far as I know, she's never told me anything of like feeling like she was not accepted at the D&D table, but
Yep.
I don't know, maybe it's something she didn't even notice was happening, because I personally have definitely had some situations at my own table where I've just like realized that, maybe I'm taking a back seat, or, maybe the women at my table have been told, like, no, we're not going to do that kind of thing. And it's so like, it doesn't, it's not made a big deal, but it's like, it's something that
We're gonna bye, kitty.
Sorry.
Bye, kitty.
It's okay. There's a couch right there.
I know.
Yeah, no. We know that. Yeah, like we know there's a couch there.
I'm
but it's
waiting
But
just
it's
for,
all
so funny.
good.
for
So
Gypsy
funny.
to get in there and be like, "What the fuck are you doing to my cat?"
Yeah,
But yeah,
right.
so
I don't even know where mine went, but
Jessica was saying I ran vampire during lunch in high school.
oh man.
So,
yeah,
so real
I've
quick,
never played Vampire, and I've been wanting to for a long time.
I want to too so
Okay,
My
we'll
first
talk
bad.
about it after
was
the show.
Mage.
Philip, what were you gonna say?
Yeah. Sorry. Do your thing. Do your thing.
so for Ray and Anthony, let me paint you a scene real quick. Both of you are playing Centaur characters, and real quick, I'm gonna be playing Devil's Advocate. So, both of you are playing Centaur, or a larger character, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're given this quest, I guess I'd call it, to go out and clear this mine shaft because it's been overrun with whatever
Right.
rats. Well, both of you get there and you see that the mine shaft is collapsed and there is a 2x2 hole. How do you get in the mine shaft?
Well, if you're a medium-sized creature, you don't.
Brute force.
You're
Because we
Centaur.
take up a 5x5 base. Nah. But if you're not going to rules lawyer, you fucking just, you squeeze through. And,
Right, but
huh?
you're a Centaur.
Well, wait a minute. Are you which version of Centaur? Are you the Shetland pony version or the full-size version?
Full size.
Because remember, Magic the Gathering has the Shetland pony size one.
You're full
Oh
size.
my gosh, that's amazing. I love
It's
that.
a centaur
I
that's
love
a
that
medium
so much.
creature, so it's ridiculous. But yes, dude, it's I understand what you're saying mechanically and everything
Yeah.
like that. But if you're the GM designing that and you understand what your players are and you don't make that entrance big enough for your players to go in, then go sit on a bag of fucking tacks because you're a dickhead.
So I was going to make a large creature like a centaur,
I want to be a
and
pony.
Right?
Go!
I was gonna say that makes me think of it's like a halfling centaur. Like
Yeah.
like a tiny person centaur. Like I love that so much.
I
This
was
is
gonna-
giving me
That was my
so
life,
many
and I realized it was yours.
Hang on
ideas.
a second. Phil, go ahead and finish what you're saying.
Sorry.
And one of my DMs was like, "Listen, I need to warn you on something though. That is a larger creature. If you go down into there's a chance you may not go into these caves and these mines and stuff that may come up because you're a larger creature. And just because he has his world set out in a certain way, and he just kind of gave me that heads up beforehand. And now I feel with the wheelchairs, you could be like, okay, yeah, you go through with the wheelchair. Like you can fully recline your wheelchair and just go through, or you make it happen. But I feel like there may be some DMs out there who go, no, you need to tell me how you're getting through that hole. How are you getting through it, and how is your wheelchair getting through it?
That is too much on this situation because what that basically is saying is you want the DM to dictate the universe until things get tough, and then you want to slap it on the player.
Player.
And that's
Like
not
that's
fucking fair.
That's
The
not
GM
fair at all.
The GM is the arbiter of the universe, and he's supposed to be facilitating this universe in order to let the players play in it.
Like
If
yeah.
you fucking are as a GM are putting obstacles up for your players to enter an area, I'm not talking about you're gonna have to scale this cliff or you're gonna have to climb through this window or whatever. If you're doing things like you're a large creature and the entrance to this is too small for you to get through. Well, unless it's part of the story, like unless you want to get certain players in there by themselves so you can do some kind of story element, other than that, you don't have a reason to block this out.
Yeah,
I mean? Unless
exclude
what you're
people
doing
from
is
certain situations.
unless what you're doing is part of actual story and has a purpose, not just going, well, I have this module and it says the hole's this big, so you can't get in. Or I wrote this ahead of time before I knew what characters you were making, and I wrote it to say this is a 4-inch wide hole, and you're a 10-inch wide, giant fat ass centaur, and you, and so you can't climb through this fucking entrance. You accommodate in order to
Yeah.
allow for people to enjoy themselves.
And Tiny Pencil
Yeah.
literally just said something. It's like, I always ask the player, tell me how they do something so I can weave it into the story, but that feels different.
Yeah.
That is exactly different. That's exactly what Ray's trying to say. It's like, it's okay for you to ask a player, okay, how do you think that you do this? if you're going to use that, if you're going to tell them, no, that's not okay, like, no, that's not possible, that's where it starts to get to like a situation of, again, toxicity. And it's like, that's not cool. Like, that's not okay. Like, if they come up with a reason as to why this works and I want to do this and I want, this is how I'm going to do this, let them do it.
Yeah.
Like, why are you telling people no?
And also, this is a fucking game.
It's a fantasy game.
This is a fucking game. Holy
we already
shit!
have-
Why is it like?
We have people. Okay, here's another thing. It's a fantasy game, so you have all those fantasy items, all that magic and everything like that. Jessica just posted a video of a guy in a wheelchair doing backflips on a half pipe.
Yeah. I think it's the
Exactly.
same video. Hold on, let me double check.
We have people already out there in wheelchairs doing the bullshit
Yeah.
that people are trying to
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
argue that people in a
That they
magic
can't
fantasy
do.
land couldn't do.
Yeah, like,
This is a game.
yeah,
And if you
again,
haven't seen some of
as
the
I
cool
s-
shit that people do in like wheelchairs and such like that, and like crutches and everything, like also you're playing a game. I'm gonna go off for a second. You're playing a game where these are adventurers with high fantasy. These are like fucking demigods. Or like about to be demigods. If they can't do this shit that you're saying they can't do, then why the fuck can they like do magic and like scale like 50-foot walls and stuff like that? Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Bro.
Run
How about
across
that?
water.
Yeah, no, as I said
Run across
earlier
water,
today,
yeah.
I will say it again every single time. Get fucked. Like, get fucked. If you really think these things, get fucked.
Get
Because
fucked.
like
Put an
it's
adult warning up
so
on the show.
infuriating.
Command in the
I
Discord.
hope
Fuck.
you did.
I
I
always
sure
do.
as hell hope
We're
you did.
flagged as adult only.
Yeah.
I got a puppy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I got a puppy and I need
Like-
a puppy.
We're
We're basically gods. That's, you know what? That's a fucking good note to wrap this shit up on.
Yes.
We're basically
Just
gods,
like-
ladies and
We're
gentlemen.
basically gods.
So I want to thank everybody for participating tonight. Anthony, thank you so much. This was a great first shot for you,
Yes,
and I really
absolutely.
appreciate you being here.
Seriously,
Yeah.
that like thanks
Phil
for
Jasmine,
coming
thank
on.
you
and-
guys both. Thank you for letting him stay up with us. And thank you, Philip, for showing up once again from Germany. And Cassie, thank you for
Aw.
being here and presenting your incredibly perfect and presentable side to the whole story.
Oh
so-
God.
And thank you, me.
I have lots
for
of
dealing with these
opinions,
loud
guys.
That's okay. We all do. That's where I am God.
Oh man, you should not on stream, but you should talk to her about that whole concept. It's
Oh, no.
fucking spectacular.
I am very familiar with that concept. I'm
Nice.
actually fundamentally agreeing with her. I totally
Yeah.
agree with her. It's a long some other time. Some other time we're gonna
Yes,
let go.
okay, yeah, we're gonna we're
gonna
gonna
So
We're
once
gonna go off
again,
on another
to
tangent.
recap real quick, of all the things that are going on right now, we have the Race to 7K. Like and follow the Facebook page, Dinner and a Game. Share the post. Oh shit! I forgot to keep the screen up, so let me check and see where we are. Go faster.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Are we almost
there?
Can I do
You
it?
can't-
Can I do it faster?
No, you can't. I'm already there.
Damn it! How
almost
did you
there.
do that so fast?
Because I had Facebook up.
Oh.
6,900.
Well, so did I.
6,920. Oh, and I have a 1 gig a second internet connection.
That's
6,928. So we've only gained what, 2? We've only gained 2, but we gained more during the show. We've already
Really?
gained 2 more followers, and so we're cresting it, guys. We're now under 75, under 70 because we're 24. That's right. Because we had
It was 24, so
yeah, 'cause we
4.
had
Yeah,
76.
we got
so
4.
now we're down to
Because
73.
mine was still
32.
showing 24 for some reason. Anyway, go on.
But yes, so yeah, because I refreshed the page. That's what I was waiting for. So we are at, we're down to the last 70-ish people, the last 70 followers to get to 7K. So maybe tomorrow before Strahd, maybe even during Strahd, we will be revealing we will be pulling for the winner of the Dinner and a Game 7K contest. And
That'd
so,
be pretty cool.
Yes, and the minis, I just printed out the last few pieces that I had errors in printing, so I had to print some more pieces out. And the only thing I have left to print for that is the heroes. And so I will be actually, you know what? I'm going to shoot for on the Strahd game. I'm going to go ahead and start I'll use blue tack and put the minis together temporarily, and I'll just put the minis together so people can see them as they're assembled, and we will put them up on camera, and I will have everything ready to go for that, and to be able to show you guys what the prize is going to be. The other thing is we have the two Twitch contests, Race to 200. We are trying to get the 200 followers on Twitch. If everyone who came out tonight follows us, we would greatly appreciate it. If you don't, if you can, we are going to enter you in a contest that is going to be for another set of minis. They are HD quality minis. They're actually going through the stream. If you saw them, one of the minis' names is Johnny Trinity. He's a human rogue. So when you see those guys come up, that is one of the minis we're giving away. There's 3 heroes: an elven druid, a dragonborn either paladin or fighter, and a human rogue. They come with a full tavern set, which includes the mantelpiece, the fireplace with a stag's head on it. It comes with a bar. It comes with tables, like a banquet table, and one table called the table.
Table.
Yeah, table. And then it has a bunch of throw terrain, like chairs and everything like that. And it has 3 bar patrons, which are the bartender, who looks like a friggin' badass, and there is a serving person, and then the last one is called the Mysterious Stranger, who may or may not bear a striking resemblance to certain trademark Lord of the Ring character whose name may rhyme with Paraporn.
Well, we also have been saying that the bartender looks like a specific character from something as well.
It may or may not look like Mr.
watched that
Clean
one.
after he's gone through some hell.
No,
Hey,
no,
Ray, I have
not
a,
even that.
addition.
Something else.
What's that?
If you all hit the 7K tomorrow,
Uh-huh.
whoever wins the contest, I'll build them something on Build-A-Blink. Whatever they want.
Cool. There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll
Thank
bring
you so much.
if they want to, I'll bring them on as a special guest and we can build it in their fruition. If not, I'll bring somebody from the Dinner and the Game cast.
Now, we're going to have to make an announcement about that on our Facebook page and stuff like that, because there might be people watching who might win, not watching now, who might win. So
yes,
we need to
absolutely.
know.
Yeah.
So
Love to help.
Also, we are
that
at 122 followers now on
Yay,
Twitch.
more followers. Thank you so much. And we are going to go ahead and look at we're doing Extra Life, and that's going to run through November. And on November 7th, Extra Life ends, and that is my wife's birthday. And so we are going to do a special event for Extra Life. So far, she said she doesn't want to play all day on her birthday, but that's perfectly understandable. I love my wife, and I'll do whatever she wants me to do. So we may do it on the 6th, we may do it on the 7th, but we're going to do an event for the end of Extra Life as a final fundraiser to push us. Hopefully, at that point, we'll be well past our $1,000 goal per charity, and we will be moving into just strictly bonus at that point. But we thank you guys so much for having been here with us. We thank you guys for having participated. The chat was amazing, guys. Holy crap,
man.
I loved you guys.
Chat tonight,
yeah,
you guys.
the chat was on.
You guys
fucking
are
fire.
awesome.
Also, I want cupcakes. Well, we can move to Austin, and we're just near Anthony's wife, and she can make us cupcakes.
Yes, please do.
Ooh, I need to make you guys
Thank you guys
cupcakes
cupcakes.
too.
Germany to get some apple pie because Philip is eating apple pie.
Oh, yeah, apple pie too.
Thank
Oh,
you.
there's the characters. There's the
Apple
characters.
strudel, I'm sorry.
If you guys watch the show, there's Johnny Trinity. There's the elf and the dragonborn. So I just wanted to point that out because I like them a lot. But anyway, so we're going. Let's see what I actually like. Oh, and the store. Oh my God, I still didn't look it up. I'm such an idiot.
Well, while you're looking that up, we got a couple minutes left. So
if anybody wants to go donate right now,
Yes.
donate to Extra Life.
donate before the end of the show, and I will match it. We've already had $100 donated during the show, so I'll be matching it $100. The next $100 that gets donated, I'll also be matching.
Yeah.
Three Sons Unlimited. That's what it is. Three Sons Unlimited in Longview, Texas. Go there. Give them support. We need to support our local gaming community, because if we don't, then we won't have a real community to come back to. We need to make sure that we do this, ladies and gentlemen. I know Amazon's cheaper, but we had our contest recently where we gave away the special edition and 2 other of these unique editions. And one of our winners was in New Zealand. And what we did was we actually contacted a local game store in New Zealand and ordered her copy through them. And they saved it for her in store. It was actually her home store. and they saved it for her in store, and she came and picked it up there. So we are now going to use that as a precedent. From now on, if we have things like, if we have contests where we're going to be, shipping things or anything like that, we're going to use local stores to source for our prizes from now on.
Absolutely. That's so
So
good.
this is the way it's going to go.
Awesome.
If you win a prize that's like a retail thing, like a copy of Mordekainen's or something like that, if you win prizes like that from now on, I'm not going to order them. I'm not going to have them sent to you. I'm going to call your local game store and see if they'll buy it for you and hold it for you, and you can go pick it up from there,
Hell
or
yeah.
or they'll
Yes.
ship it to you. You can do it from there, because
Hell
we are
yeah.
going to put our money where our mouth is, and we're going to start supporting these local stores in any way we shape or form we can. So we're going to go ahead and move forward with that, starting immediately. So this set of contests, I'm printing everything out, but
Yep.
Yeah.
one of the things I wanted to point out is we are doing these 1K marches, 7K, 8K, 9K. We're trying to get to 10K by the end of the year. And the reason for that is if we get to 10K before Christmas, we are doing an epic giveaway. Okay? If we get to 10K before Christmas, we are going to give away a full set of the 5E rule books. And I'm not talking the Player's Guide, the Monstrous Manual, and the DMG. I'm talking about the Player's Guide, Monstrous Manual, DMG, Mordenkainen's, Volos, Sword Coast, Salt Marshes. What else am I missing? I always miss some.
Eberron,
No,
Avernus.
Eberron is not. Eberron's a source book, not a rule book.
Oh,
Wait, is cast excluded?
No, Cass is not
No.
included because I'm not paying you a dime.
Because
Oh, cool.
exactly, we're not excluded.
We call you Cass, but we don't pay you, so.
That's
So,
fine then.
Yes. So
I'll take it.
so if,
we're guessed.
yes, if you guys if we get to 10K before Christmas, we are doing that giveaway for our Christmas special giveaway. Okay, so every single time we do one of these, one race to 5K, race to 6K, race to 7K, 8K, every time we do this, please do everything you can to share out our page, share out the contest, and get that word out. Because the faster we get through these, the closer we'll get to getting to 10K before the end of the year, and we can do the mega giveaway. All right.
Woo!
And so, other than that, remember, Philip is going to continue to match until the end of the show. We're going to stay online on our stream on our Skype channel until the show actually goes off the air, so we can get the final total for Philip. And we're going to go ahead and let you guys go. I think we covered everything. Oh, Anthony, once again, would you
Yo.
care to plug the Disco Daddy?
Oh, I'd love to. So every Monday or Sunday, depending on the special guests, I think the next few special guests are Mondays. We do Build a Blank. And Build a Blank, what that is we make gaming content for your home game, whether that is cities, NPCs. The first one we did, we bait a fucking deity. We started right from the top. So yeah, we make content for your games that you can plug in your game, which actually kind of circles back to the whole what is over prepping and stealing other people's work. So yeah, like we want to make sure we want to use stuff for your game with the collaborative effort of our special guests and also chat. So every Monday, go ahead and give us kind of hop in there and let us know what you want in your game.
Yes.
We've done Lexandros, which is a deity. We've done some NPCs. We built Axum09 and I. We built a huge kingdom, Alora, and in Alora, Ray and I are building Freeholm.
Yep.
And that will be on Monday as well.
Night.
And then and then the next special guest is one of my players, Clint. He is going to be helping me build Marauder's Bay, which is a pirate cove. So that should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we've got.
And it's also
that's
tied
kind of
into
funny.
his
There's
backstory.
a theme going on. We have the free home, the free city of basically brigands and thieves, and then you're building Marauder Bay.
Yeah, it wasn't intentional, but like I really liked the idea of doing Freeholm for our game because I know we wanted to do a city, and then I want for any time I bring on one of my players, I want to do something with their backstory because it gives me an opportunity to kind of work on their backstory that I might have not already.
Right. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for that, and thank you so much for the extra plug for the contest. That's amazing. So what we're going to do now is we're going to say good night. We're going to say we love you, and we're going to remind you of a couple of things. Number one, It's still a pandemic here in the States, ladies and gentlemen.
Mhm.
If you don't have to go anywhere, stay home. It's the only safe way. It's the only way to be really, really safe. If you have to go anywhere, wear a mask. You're not just protecting you, you're protecting everyone around you. And
Mhm.
if other people are not wearing masks, just let it go. Don't do any confrontations because then you're going to have to get closer to them. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? If they're going to be foolish, stay the fuck away from them. They're idiots. All right. So wear a mask, be safe. We want everyone to be able to come back and watch the next show, participate in the next event, and be part of this family that we're trying to make. Okay? So, whatever happens, no matter what. Oh, shit. I forgot something. Ugh. Ladies and gentlemen, because summer is getting ready to end, Dinner and a Game has some new items. 1 second.
Yeah. Oh man, I want one of
Oh,
those so
cute.
bad. I want one so bad.
Our
I need
beanie
a
has got a pom
beanie.
pom
I
on top.
need a beanie so bad.
So Dinner and a Game does have a store. Okay. Actually, do 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 do. That is it.
Hey.
We have a store
Hey.
for branded merch. We have T-shirts, we have beanies, we have cups. I don't have a cup up here. Oh my god, my cup's gone.
How dare
We
you?
have cups, coffee cups, and we have all kinds of branded merch. If you guys want to support us, the easiest way to support us, this is a print-on-demand store, so we don't have any overhead from it. Everything that you guys buy, we just get profits, straight up. So if you guys want to support us in any way, and you want to rep the show, order.
Yeah.
Order from
Yeah.
the
Faith
My
store.
wife's
Faith
gonna
is
see
definitely
the
gonna be
mugs.
ordering one of these. Faith is my love who wears a beanie in the middle of the summer. I have yelled at her before
Oh,
I'm
about
the
this is
being
same
out
already
in
way.
getting
Texas
hot.
in
I
the
don't know how
summer
she
and
does
been
that
like,
shit.
I'm
This is
like,
already getting
Faith,
hot.
what is wrong with you? And she's
It
always
does
just
have a
like,
pom
oh,
pom. I would
it
not.
has a pom pom. I need one.
Yeah.
I need
Yes.
one so
And we
bad. I
have shirts. We
can't.
have
I
hats. We
can't.
have
My wife
everything.
is already looking at the coffee cups.
Yep. And they're big.
Yeah.
They're really
Yeah.
big.
We even have a
Yeah.
backpack now. I designed it the other day. Oh, and everything on there,
Yes.
I'm designing them and putting them out there. We do. Oh, if we have any artists in the audience, we pay for art. Okay, real money. We need art. We're gonna start doing shirt designs. I've got some different. I've got some different comments and statements from the game and everything like that. We need art to produce for these shirts. So if you want to produce shirts for us, please email us at contact, as I type it in, at dinner and a game and a game.net. And I hope I typed it right. Yes, contact at dinnerandagame.net. Um,
Faith, do it.
and so we are looking for art for different things. We definitely will negotiate with you for art prices. But we are put it this way, we've got a base price of $75 for line art. Line art takes you 20 minutes to do, folks. Put
Mhm.
some design practice in. You guys who are artists, you know what I'm
5
talking
then.
about. And we also are doing way more for color art.
Oh
So
yeah.
Yeah.
we are looking for people to produce art for us. We're also looking for character sketches because we need character
Ew.
sketches done because we're going to be changing up our look and feel of the page. We want to put more art for each one of the characters. And if anyone can do layouts for OBS and so I can give you what the layout's supposed to look like and you can design it for us, we would be willing to pay for that too. I am a creative in the fact that I come up with stories. I don't have the ability to draw a damn thing. So, so we need help, and we are willing to pay for it because we want to make this the best possible quality show we can for you guys. We want to get rid of these plain backgrounds and these square boxes and really put some
Yeah.
color into it and make things pop for you and to keep you
Right.
guys coming back for more. All right?
Meg,
And
Meg said we need a yo-yo shirt.
we need a yo-yo shirt for Kessie. It'll be
Hell
a monk
yeah.
on a string going up and down.
Down and up and down and up and down and up and down.
So, no matter what, though we want to get these things going for you. We want to make a better quality show for you, a better stream for you, and we are willing to take the chance on you guys because you're taking a chance on us. Straight up. We are asking for your time. We are willing to help in any way we can. And we know that people are struggling right now. If we can help you guys out, we will. So
Mm-hmm.
please contact us, let us know. We will work together to figure this out. And in the meantime, be safe, be careful. Come back and watch us next week. Tomorrow we are going to be doing Curse of Strahd, which I still have to make a character for because the freaking character thing is not
Shoot,
working.
yeah, I still.
Yeah, I know.
Ooh, I still have to put mine into
I know.
Fantasy
We still have
Routes
to put
too.
our characters in the thing.
Ugh.
So, but please come
Good news,
back.
Good thing I don't have anything going on tomorrow.
Come back tomorrow and watch Curse of Strahd. We will go ahead and be doing our Curse of Strahd campaign. We will be making everything happen for that, and we will be running that from 6 p.m. till 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. Josh Runyon will be running that for us. It's going to be amazing. Share our stream. Subscribe if you can, because every single dime you guys put into subscriptions is going to be going to fund stuff like us buying art, to fund stuff like us getting more equipment, because we have people out there who are running on systems that are barely being held together in order to be able to come on and stream for you guys. And we want to make sure that they have good enough equipment to where they can put out a quality stream from their house, so we can have a quality stream going overall for the entire process. So
Mm-hmm.
if you can, subscribe. Remember, it's going to enter you in the contest to win the books. And other than that, I think we are pretty much talked out. My throat is getting raw. And
Just remember,
I know.
if
I'm
you
probably
are a
gonna wake up hoarse
gatekeeping
tomorrow.
asshole, get fucked.
Get fucked.
Get fucked. if you're a
Get
gatekeeping asshole.
fucked.
But also, if you're a fan of the show and you want to be part of our family, trust me. I mean it when I say it. We will always save you a seat at the table. Please be careful out there. We love you guys, and we will see you next time on Dinner Conversations.